famous stories. We'll start with this. Jennifer Aniston is sparking romance rumors with hypnotist and self-help coach Jim Curtis after they were spotted vacationing together in Mallorca over the 4th of July weekend.
Well, that sounds serious.
The pair were seen with Aniston's close friends Jason Bateman and Amanda Anka, with photos showing her introducing Curtis to the group before heading off to a yacht party.
I want you all to take your tops off.
Aniston has followed Curtis's work for years and even included one of his books in a recent Instagram photo dump.
So he's kind of like an old style guru then.
I don't really know anything about him other than he's a self-help and hypnotist.
Right.
Curtis, who promotes healing and manifestation, has caught Aniston's attention online before. She's liked several of his posts, including one where he says, "I trust that love can be kind, consistent, and true.
I enjoyed meeting your friends."
Curtis, who has over 500,000 followers, encourages people to use affirmations to move on from heartbreak and attract healthy love. His bio reads, "My mission
he loves pickleball.
is to help you heal and thrive by upgrading your I am."
Okay, one of these guys.
That's his mantra, I guess. I am.
Learn the power of I am.
Mm-hmm. And he probably
$1,000, please.
Yeah. That's all you got to do. Yeah. So Katie Holmes is raising eyebrows after quietly liking an Instagram post claiming Tom Cruise and Ana de Armas love affair confirmed.
What?
While their relationship is not confirmed, the rare social media move on Katie's part definitely caught people's attention.
It's my understanding that Tom Cruise and Katie Holmes do not communicate at all.
Yeah.
So is this
I don't know. Maybe this is an avenue that opens up that line of communication, Steve.
Maybe they should talk to Jennifer Aniston's boyfriend.
Or they could have Mel Gibson as their mediator. He could get, he could help them communicate together. I mean, he's a great communicator.
Yeah.
That's the mantra. Yeah. All right, repeat after me.
Holmes has mostly stayed
Excuse me, Holmes?
low-key about their 2012 divorce from Cruise while raising their daughter, Suri.
Who has virtually no relationship whatsoever with Tom Cruise.
As far as we know, we don't know anything really.
That's the word.
They might, but...
The post shared on May 1st by Daily Mail highlighted Cruise and de Armas' time together, including helicopter rides and other sightings in London and on her birthday. While the source told people they're just friends, Anna confirmed in May that she's working on multiple projects with Cruise, but one has since hit pause due to rising budgets. But
you know what?
Katie Holmes liked it for whatever reason.
I might believe that Ana de Armas is not romantic with him, and they're working on a number of projects together.
Yeah.
They're just hanging out. It doesn't hurt to be seen around town with Ana de Armas on your arm.
Most definitely. Or her with Tom Cruise.
Or vice versa.
Yeah, so. Tori Spelling, ready to get back into the dating world, but with an asterisk attached on her podcast. The actor explained she's not exactly looking for a relationship. She said the new thing is not a relationship, but a monogamous situationship.
What? Knock it off.
I haven't heard situationship in a while.
It's like an unconscious, a conscious uncoupling.
Yeah.
She said, so that would fit really nicely into my life because honestly, right now I'm focused on my kids and I'm focused on work. It's like a situationship, but you're not with anyone else.
What the hell does that mean?
What?
You're just not dating.
So she added, so it's just kind of goes with your time and your freedom and they're there.
What?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I quote Mel Gibson when I say,
What?
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 If a situationship is for you, Tori may be your woman. Spelling, she filed for divorce over a year ago from Dean McDermott. So,
you're there.
There's Dean McDermott. Yeah. So that podcast obviously is doing okay for her, but there's no other source of income, right? And the fact that her
dude, I have no idea.
Residuals at all?
Yeah, maybe.
Yes, Nick, that could be it.
Yeah, that could still be.
Not getting any mother or stepmom. Candy Spelling, mom or stepmom?
Mom.
Okay, mom.
It is mom? Okay.
Yeah.
Actress Jamie King. Remember her?
Yes, we met her.
She's engaged.
Oh.
On Monday, she was spotted with a new diamond ring on her left ring finger as she was leaving Sally Hirschberger Salon in West Hollywood. And since then, People has confirmed that she is engaged to investor Austin Sosa. King has made very minimal mention of Sosa on her socials, but a source told People she is very close with his family and was staying with his parents after she moved out of her Los Angeles apartment earlier this year.
Preston, that's Sammy Sosa.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, it's not Sammy Sosa. She shares
Edmundo.
2 sons with her ex-husband, Kyle Neumann, by the way. So Anna Kendrick reportedly has a new man. According to sources, the actor has been dating comedian Alex Edelman
Oh, I like that guy.
for several months. And she is bouncing back from her breakup with Bill Hader. I looked him up. I didn't know him. I was trying to see if he's ever been here before.
And my wife's a fan of his, and I think she introduced me to him. I always forget where I learn about comedians because I learned so many of them here. But he's funny. I like him. I approve of them.
Okay.
So she had been with Bill Hader?
Yeah.
Apparently,
I didn't know that. He had been with another Ali Wong.
They're still together.
Oh, they are?
Yeah, Bill Hader and Ali Wong are together. Yeah.
All right.
So the insider tells Page Six that Kendrick and the comedian are quite serious after photos of the two in a car together were published recently.
Well, once you get in a car.
Adding that Kendrick has already met his mom. She is notoriously private about her relationships. She was last known to be dating Hader until the two split back in 2022.
I watched that movie she directed about the girl who escaped the serial
the guy
killer
from
in the
the-
desert for
the
the
game
dating
show.
game. It was good.
I agree.
She did a good job.
It was really good. And yeah, it was pretty damn disturbing.
Yeah.
And she was really good in it. So the Marvel Universe helped get her there, but it was dinosaurs that put her over the top. Scarlett Johansson's role in the new blockbuster Jurassic World Rebirth has allowed her to leapfrog fellow Marvel alumni Samuel L. Jackson and Robert Downey Jr. to become the highest grossing box office star in Hollywood.
Wow. And from what I understand, there are dinosaurs in this one, correct?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Over 36 films, Johansson has helped bring in $14.9 billion at the global box office.
Wow.
Jackson is now second with $14.6 billion, and Downey Jr. third with $14.3 billion.
Of the top 10 highest grossing stars in Hollywood, do you know the only one who is not in the MCU?
Wow, that's a really,
I'm
really
gonna
good
guess
question.
Dwayne Johnson?
Nope. Good guess. I just read it this morning. It's Tom Cruise.
Tom
Okay.
Cruise,
Yeah. he's
okay.
Never
yeah.
done a MCU movie, never done a Marvel movie, and he's still in the top 10.
Okay. Well, but she's leapfrogged all the way up to the top. So
She also successfully sued Marvel at one point for the Black Widow movie.
what was that over about the?
So it was supposed to get a full theater release. This was during COVID.
Oh, that's
And they
right.
shunted it right off to the streaming service.
Oh.
And so her salary was based on box office.
Okay.
A lot of it.
Well, I'm going to go back to Jurassic World Rebirth a little bit. Jonathan Bailey is going the extra mile when it comes to his work on that movie. Not only does he play paleontologist Dr. Henry Loomis, but he also recorded music for the movie. Specifically, he played the clarinet for the movie's score and even got a solo that lines up to when his character meets a dinosaur for the first time.
What a talented guy.
Yeah. He visited the Abbey Road studios while Alexandra Desplat was scoring the film with a 105-piece orchestra incorporating John Williams' iconic themes. After asking if he could bring his school clarinet, Bailey ended up joining the session and playing alongside the orchestra, which I think is awesome.
That is cool.
He said, even if it was just like, one slightly sharp note of the John Williams score, it would have been my dream come true.
If you were to have the ability, now that, we're entering this realm in this new movie where they're commonplace, dinosaurs, what dinosaur would you keep as a pet?
Always a pet. Wow.
It has to be something you could manage. A T-Rex would be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking like Triceratops.
Yes.
Something like that.
Yeah.
One of those more stout, squat
Right.
dinosaurs.
That you could pet or hug.
All right,
ride,
Does it have to
or
be
ride.
Does it have to be a dinosaur, or can it just be something of that era?
Something of that era.
Maybe saber-toothed tiger, bro.
Dude, you're playing with fire.
Okay, but all the other dinosaurs are safe. Gotcha.
Not a Triceratops.
weren't those later than that?
I don't know.
They
I don't
were.
know.
They were. But he said in general.
Okay.
Old animals.
Old animals.
Yeah.
Extinct
What's
animals.
your
Yeah.
old and favorite animal?
My cat's
Yeah.
17.
I don't think there were any mammals around when the
Yeah, that's
dinosaurs-
what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nick, what about you? Dinosaur. Let's stick with dinosaur.
Oh, a dinosaur? Stegosaurus.
Stegosaurus.
Love the
Yeah.
Stegosaurus.
Okay.
All right,
Are they
now
the
we're
ones
talking.
with the big
The scales on the back.
scales on the back?
And
Yeah.
the ball
Yeah.
at the end of the tail.
And they got, and the ball at the end of the tail is a ankylosaurus, I believe. The stegosaurus.
They've got spikes on
Have
it.
the spike at
That's
the end of
it.
the tail.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
They're all pretty good.
Ah,
Yeah.
they're damn good.
Yeah.
All right, our order is in.
Yep. Robert Irwin visited a popular Australian restaurant over the weekend and apparently walked out on the bill. In an Instagram video, he explained himself, calling it a funny story. Irwin explained that he has, that as he road trips down the east coast of Australia, he stopped by an eatery known as the Jetty Pavilion for a salad to go. Once there, he was swarmed by fans. As he dealt with that, the staff packaged his dinner to go, and it wasn't until the next morning that he realized he didn't pay for the meal.
Yeah, right.
He called the restaurant and offered to pay over the phone, but the staffers insisted that it was no problem, saying that they love the work that he does. In return, he took to Instagram to urge his millions of followers to support the fantastic local businesses with a great team, great food, and amazing atmosphere. I've done that before.
Have walked out?
Yeah.
Yeah, inadvertently.
At an appearance one time, because sometimes we get stuff for free and sometimes we don't. And I remember I didn't pay for something, and the next day I went in and took care of it, but it can happen.
So I left a car delership after doing the same thing, Preston. I'm like, oh my God, I didn't pay for this.
You didn't pay for your meal?
My car.
Oh, okay. I thought they were serving up a full meal for you. He capped it with, "That's my review. They are the absolute best." So he made good on that like a good person.
He's not a
does.
freeloader.
Nope. Chris Pratt is coming back to voice Garfield once again. The Garfield movie came out last year, and it seems like the sequel is still in early days. Producers are said to be in talks with potential writers for the sequel to the animated comedy, and additional casting is expected to be announced soon.
So Chris Pratt did it this time, but it was Bill Murray had done it for
And then,
two movies, right?
And then who is the Lorenzo? Not Lorenzo Lamas.
Lorenzo's Pizza.
No. Never mind.
Lorenzo.
No. The
Oh,
original,
Lorenzo Semple.
the original voice actor on the TV show.
Yes.
Yeah.
Lorenzo Music.
That's it.
That was his name?
Yeah, was he Carlton the Doorman?
He was.
Yeah, from Rhoda, was that?
Yes, yeah.
So the first movie with Chris Pratt included voice work from actors including Samuel L. Jackson, Hannah Waddingham, and Ving Rhames, and more. Pratt announced that he was joining the sequel in a video posted to social media that featured Garfield 2 written on a pizza. The third Dune movie finally has a title, and it is, perhaps unsurprisingly, Dune Part 3.
Why not?
Wow.
That follows Dune and Dune Part 2. Many fans originally thought the movie would be titled Dune Messiah, the same as the sequel book to the original Dune. That novel, which will be adapted for the upcoming movie, follows Paul Muad'Dib Atreides as he takes on the duties of Emperor. Dune Part 3 is set to begin filming very soon. Timothée Chalamet, Zendaya, and Jason Momoa are confirmed to return, and Denis Villeneuve is directing once again.
Now, there are rumors he was spotted out with Kylie Jenner, Preston, and he was wearing this sort of head scarf. And there are rumors that he has shaved his head for the filming of this movie.
Ooh, okay.
I don't know.
Maybe. He goes through some big changes
Yeah.
in this this next. Actually, it's the second book. So we will see how they portray
So the
it.
first book is part 1 and 2.
Correct.
Okay.
So it hits theaters December 2026. So already excited for that.
There is, so obviously they have the Spice Planet case, but in this Messiah, there is a Flex Seal planet.
Whoa.
Amazing.
No
and they
kidding.
greet each other with a specific sound.
Oh.
That's it. Yeah.
Flex Seal Planet. I like it. It's nothing like no water can penetrate.
Exactly.
There's hardly no water on Arrakis, but on the Flex Seal Planet, no water can penetrate
Not a drop.
the surface
Right.
at all.
Wow.
Yeah, zero.
It's a Flex Seal
That's
planet.
bizarre.
Fandango, the online ticketing platform for movies, has raised over $1.3 million for the Boys and Girls Clubs of America.
I just used Fandango to purchase my tickets for Superman.
Fandango excuse me.
I said, I'm about to.
Fandango partnered with movie theaters to have customers round up the price of their ticket prices to the nearest dollar, with money raised being used to send thousands of kids to the movies for free.
If there's ever anything at a checkout that says, "Do you want to round up for charity?" I always do. It's kind of a no-brainer, right? I mean,
I usually do.
Yeah.
You only do it for camp out?
That's it.
Okay. I usually do. The Boys and Girls Clubs will host free moviegoing events across the country, and Fandango will also host screening events across the nation this year. The movies that helped raise the most money for the initiative include a Minecraft movie, Lilo and Stitch, Mission Impossible, Captain America Brave New World, and more.
I was watching a video of theater owners talking about the way things are going in their industry, and they are cautiously optimistic that we are starting to see a return to the excitement over going back into the theater. With they're re-releasing a lot of movies in 3D again. They're doing the 4DX and all these little things. And then there's a movie tavern type chain, Preston, that's opening up that is really more exclusively like a bar, cocktails, stuff like that. So less food, more nightclubby.
Let's get him hammered. That'll bring him in.
I love this dinosaur.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Are people yapping during the movie?
I would hope not, but maybe the vibe is that you can if you want to do that. You know.
I don't know. I hope it draws me back to seeing the movie theaters. The most recent one I went to see was Life of Chuck. I know you saw that too, Casey, in the movie theater. So I'm hoping to. You gotta draw me in. You know what I mean?
You're not going to donate money. Just you want to have a reason to do it.
Yep. Yesterday, news came out that fans of the show And Just Like That had spotted a major continuity error in the series. To catch you up, Lisa, played by Nicole Ari Parker, had briefly spoken about losing her father in season 1. In season 2, her father was introduced on screen, portrayed by Billy D. Williams. And then, in the most recent episode of season 3, Lisa had to deliver the eulogy for her father, who passed from a stroke, apparently from dying a second time.
What?
When the internet screamed for the show's writers to make that make sense, they had a response. The show's production team told The Hollywood Reporter that the dead dad referred to in the first season of the show was actually Lisa's stepfather. No word on how the fan base took that explanation. So.
Did they explain the Stegosaurus?
They did not. And that's the big mystery of the show. And just like that,
a Stegosaurus.
Yep. All right, and then one last story, and then we'll do the clips. Bachelor Nation is getting a shakeup, Golden style.
I love you.
In the season 10 teaser for Bachelor in Paradise, host Jesse Palmer teases that Paradise will never be the same as contestants from the Golden Bachelor and Golden Bachelorette step onto the beach. Showrunner Scott Tetty told Deadline, the Goldens brought this camaraderie that is really special. While the younger cast worries about optics and online chatter, Teddy said, the Goldens come in and it's kind of like they just flipped the script. Their no-nonsense vibe and advice apparently help the younger singles get out of their head and just have fun.
So here's what I would like to see. End-of-life Bachelor on Co-Ed Island.
Oh.
Right?
End-of-life Bachelor like Co-Ed Island.
Right.
Yeah, Hospice Bachelor.
Hospice Bachelor, like 96, 97.
Yeah.
And these girls in bikinis come in and change his IV, and all of that stuff.
Like 18, like barely legal, 18 and 19.
Preston, somewhere in the realm of like Tuesdays with Maury.
Okay, right in that range?
Yeah.
Okay. So...
Hospice Bachelor on Co-Ed Island.
Their no-nonsense vibe and advice apparently help the younger singles get out of their head and just have fun. They said Bachelor in Paradise airs Mondays on ABC starting July... Well, it starts July 7th, so it already began.
It's really good.
All right. It's really great. Let me tell you. All right, we have clips to play. So Ballard is a detective who takes on LA's lengthy list of forgotten cold cases. In this clip, Maggie Q details what sets this series apart from other crime shows.
It's procedural, but it's very cinematic. Much more elevated, I think, than you've seen from a cop show, in my opinion. And again, great cast, obviously a great season arc, and hopefully audiences are going to connect with it, because we've definitely done everything we can to make that happen.
Yeah! She's really good, and the show is a spinoff from Bosch, which is another really good series, yeah.
So season 1 of Ballard premieres today. You can find that on Amazon Prime Video. Here's our next clip. Lena Dunham returns to the director's chair for the new rom-com series, Too Much, about a New Yorker adapting to London culture. And here, Lena discusses why she wanted to highlight these cultural differences.
From the minute I started working in the UK, I wanted to make something about an American in the UK. I feel like there is a unique kind of culture clash that happens when you speak the same language, but you also don't speak the same language. So I was thinking about the best way of doing that, and also my great love of a classic working title rom-com, and thought, can we mash these two together and create a different kind of rom-com story?
Pow, 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 pow! Kaboomba!
Season 1 of Too Much premieres tonight, and you can see that on Netflix. There you go. That's the entertainment report for this morning. Got a few things cooking for today besides the temps. We are going to do a check-in with the Fox Good Day. That'll be around 7:55 this morning. Tom Arnold will be joining us. He's going to be at Helium Comedy Club tomorrow night, and our friend Victor Fiorillo from Philly Mag is stopping in as well. There's an event coming up this week, and he wants to make you aware of. So we will take a break. We'll get into a few other things as well as we progress through this Wednesday morning. So hang out for a bit. We'll be right back.
Preston and Steve. Preston and Steve.
I'm starting to feel the buzz of excitement in the studio this morning. And the excitement that I have is that something will probably go wrong. So
Yes, absolutely.
I was
And it's
getting
probably
excited about
something,
that.
it's probably an exposed wires, what's feeling that buzz.
That's what
Yeah,
it
yeah,
is. And I also realized as we were getting prepared for this morning, I'm like, this is the fourth time we've done this competition. We should probably have some type of official recorded intro. We don't have one of those yet.
No.
So Steve is going to be doing it live for us this
Yes.
morning. So Steve, are you ready?
Yes.
It is time for
The battle of the self-proclaimed experts.
All right, and it is the It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia version of this that we are doing.
If you stop and think about this, so we've done Harry Potter, which is one of the probably the most elaborate of the collections of work that you would have to be aware of.
Mm-hmm.
This is right up there.
Oh, it's got to be beyond. If you think about the hours of programming.
Good
From
point.
It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, it's got to eclipse
It's amazing.
the Harry Potter universe. So we reached out to our listening audience and we asked for you to tell us why you should be in our contest. And we got, as we figured, loads and loads and loads of great responses.
Right.
And they were really hard to narrow down, but we had to do it. And it's the only way to filter through and just find some people that we think might be good competitors. And we can't do a battle royale with everybody and then narrow it down and bracket it down to two people. So this is how we do it.
Knowledge and passion. That's what we were looking for.
All right. And we have two people in the studio. And I'm going to read the emails. Some of them are kind of long, so I'm going to read portions of the emails
Reader's Digest version
that were sent in. This one first says, Gadzooks Gang, as a stakeholder in kitten mittens and current student studying bird law at Patrick's Pub University, it's an honor to place my name in contention for this self-proclaimed expertise. 15 seasons and counting of Sunny content directly linked to my brain over the last 17 years have allowed my inner day man to shine through and have it be a huge piece of who I am, my personality, in quotes, situations I directly tie into my everyday life. I am incredibly thankful for what the gang has been able to create and produce for us over the years, and I hope my obnoxious ability to have that content as part of who I am win me the title. On top of that, the Preston and Steve Show has been my personal inspiration for wanting to work in radio/broadcasting, attempts at the difficult job front over the years of on top of recent historical events have led me away a bit, but the dream constantly remains whenever the frequency turns to 93.3. Hope to rid myself of all safety nets. Blending two of my passions is a dream, and thankful for the opportunity from you all. But anyway, see you later, jabronis. Cool word. Signed, the Golden God, who is currently untethered and whose rage has no bounds at all, James Bailey. Is here this morning. Good morning, James.
I just wanted to make sure I could perform a successful ocular pat down prior to us starting here.
Yes.
Okay. All safe. You guys are all checked.
All right, thank you.
Thank God.
He's wearing his goggles.
All right.
We are good to go.
We're
All right.
all good. It's a pleasure to be here, guys. I mean, like a literal dream to be sitting here talking to you guys. So thank you.
That's awesome.
It is our pleasure, and thank you for all of your enthusiasm. We appreciate that. All right, and our next contestant sent in the following email. It said, you know what? Let me kick down a little thing to you that our founding fathers kicked down to me. and it goes, "Don't tread on me." And right now, if you guys don't pick me for this contest, you'll be treading all over me. If I'm selected, and when I do eventually win, I'm going to peak so hard that everybody in Philadelphia is going to feel it. If I'm unfortunately passed over as the self-proclaimed expert, I'll get all in your faces and point out your faults. But after I win, I'm relaxing. I'm getting blackout drunk, and you're leaving me alone. But Kathy, just a heads up, I'll give you $50 if you drink soup out of my shoe and take your top off.
That's a good deal.
I'm sorry, Kathy.
She's done it for less.
What color, by the way?
Thanks.
It's a lengthy email. I'm not going to get to all of it, but he was born and raised in South Jersey, graduated from Rowan University, a staff sergeant in the National Army Guard. Please welcome Alex Crespo.
Thanks for having me.
Morning, Alex. Happy to have you here. Thanks for being on board.
This is awesome. Appreciate it.
Excellent.
And again, sorry, Kathy.
Well, listen, this is the way things are going to work with Battle of the So-Called Experts. Oh, I'm sorry. With
Battle of the Self-Proclaimed Experts.
All right, this is the way it's going to work. We're going to have 3 rounds of questions. Each round is going to be a different level of difficulty. Obviously, we'll start with the easier questions, move on to medium, and then we will get to the hard questions. The first round, questions are worth 1 point each.
1 point.
The second round, questions are worth 2 points each.
2 points.
And in the third round, where the scores can really change, it's 5 points.
5 points.
Now, if we find ourselves in the event event of a tie,
A tie.
Oh my God, make it stop.
we do have a tiebreaker question
All
that
right.
will determine our winner. And I know I'm forgetting something. Oh, yes.
Sarah Marshall.
What?
Oh, forgetting
Forgetting
Sarah
Sarah
Marshall.
Marshall.
Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
One of my
So,
favorites.
as I ask the question, either one of you can buzz in at any time. Now, if you buzz in before I finish with the question, I'm going to stop where I am. You'll have to answer the question at that point. There may be more to it that you miss out on, but if you're feeling strong, you can go for it. Now, if you do get it incorrect when you interrupt me, I will pose the rest of the question to your competitor, and they will get to hear the entire clue and then give us an answer.
Yes.
So they might have an advantage. That's up to you. That's where a little strategy comes into play. We need to test out our buzzers to see what they sound like. So let's go. Alex, if you could hit your button. That will mean that Alex has buzzed in first.
That's great.
And James, could you hit yours?
Hey!
All right. When you hear that, that's James, and he will get to answer the question. And that's how things work. We have our podiums set up here in the studio. If you're streaming on YouTube, you'll be able to see all of this live. Nick is going to be our scorekeeper. Nick, you all set?
Yes, sir.
All right. I don't have your mic on.
This one? There we go.
There you are.
Mike wasn't on.
All right. So we are going to get this underway. Let's begin with round number 1. Gentlemen, grab your signaling buttons. And by the way, I need to compliment them on their T-shirts. They are wearing It's Always Sunny centric shirts.
yeah.
We have the Bird Law shirt and the Implication shirt as well.
You had to call them to say, at least to alert them to the fact that while we are fans and watch the show, these are the encyclopedic knowledge of the whole show. So we may not be aware of everything.
And in fact, I need Connor in here because Connor is going to be our judge should we need to go to a ruling.
Connor's another super fan.
Connor's a super fan, and he helped out with all of the questions. So, Connor, I may go to you for a thumbs up or thumbs down.
like
on
the
correct.
gladiators.
All right, here we go. Starting with 1 point questions. These are the easier questions of the lot. Let's begin. Here we go. In what year did It's Always Sunny debut?
Hey!
James.
August 4th, 2005.
He knew the date. Oh my God, that is correct. Absolutely. 1 point for James. Like I said, these are the easier questions. Question number 2, and there are 5 questions per round. I forgot to mention that. Which Pennsylvania bridge is seen? Alex.
I'm going to go Strawberry Mansion Bridge. But
That
I
is
think I jumped the gun.
That is incorrect. Which Pennsylvania bridge is seen in the opening credits?
George Washington Bridge, correct? Or no?
That is incorrect. That is incorrect. Both of them wrong. It's the Ben Franklin Bridge.
George Washington Bridge is in New York, James.
Round up. No, that's very different. Very different.
All right,
Is it the Verrazano Narrows Bridge?
here we go.
Golden Gate.
Yeah.
And by the way, the you heard Casey playing sound effects. For a correct answer, for an incorrect answer, you will hear this,
Dead air!
or you will hear this.
This is not good radio!
All right, and for a correct answer, you'll hear. or
Rock flag and eagle.
See, it all looks professional.
it does. All right, third question of the first round, and there are 5 per round. Here we go. What is Dee's nickname that was...
Hey!
All right, James?
Shut up, bird.
Incorrect.
Ooh,
This is not good radio.
What is Dee's nickname that was given to her in high school?
The aluminum monster.
That is correct. Alex gets a point.
Rock flag and eagle.
That's from the episode titled The Aluminum Monster versus Fatty Magoo. Question number 4. What is Rickety Cricket's
Hey!
James?
Matthew Mara.
Matthew Mara is correct. Rickety Cricket's real name. All right, question number 5, and this is a lengthy one. A lengthy setup. I just want to tell you ahead of time. Here we go. Mac and Charlie go to a diving pool they used to go to as kids, but the pool has been abandoned and is full of garbage. Mac says that the pool looks like the way that it is because of a pattern of discrimination against lower class people, but Charlie says it's because a kid drowned. Alex?
Jamie Nelson.
That is correct! And round 1 comes to a completion. And by the way, that was from Mac and Charlie White Trash episode. Nick, what is the score so far?
All tied up at 2 apiece.
Nice, guys.
2
Very
for
nice.
Alex, 2 for James.
It's a tie score.
And they got the same question incorrect, I want to point out. So nobody stole anything from anyone on that one. So 2-2 in round 1. And we now move on to a slightly more difficult section of our contest. This is round 2 with our medium difficulty questions, and each question is worth 2 points.
2 points.
It's helpful.
Question number 1. We need you to give us the full definition for the meaning of the
Traffic on 93.3 WMMR.
All right, thank you very much, Marissa. Tom Arnold joining us a little bit later on this morning. A few other things going on as well. But I think because I've did some diving into research this morning that I need to dust off one of my old monikers that we haven't used in a long time.
Oh, boy.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's return of the therapist this morning.
They call me Dr. Love. They call me Dr. Love.
Yes.
Now it's time for Dr. Love.
I have several stories that concern relationships and how to improve them and how to find some warning signs and some things that can maybe help you out down the road.
It's a common thing, and these little life things, sometimes life hacks can help turn things around for you if you're going through a bad spell or enhance a good spell.
I was reading this morning. For a relationship to be successful, both partners need to feel emotionally secure, connected,
nonsense.
and comfortable, being themselves in front of each other. And the thing is, romantic relationships can bring out our deepest insecurities, which isn't great for anyone. But the couples that make it long-term have overcome those insecurities, accepting themselves and their partner for who they are. So Dr. Courtney S. Warren, a Harvard-trained psychologist, specializes in romantic relationships, and she found that couples who truly trust each other tend to use the same phrases with each other every other day, or they do it every day, and says that these should be relationship goals for all of us. So I've got the list of these specific phrases that can help a relationship, or this is what they have noted that successful long-term couples use regularly, and maybe you can in your relationship.
You are the therapist, so I'm going to trust this. But I would say this: my wife Claire and I have been going through a nice run where we have been working on, again, it's not like we had to take a flamethrower to the whole thing. We just wanted to adjust the way we communicate.
Yeah, and relationships take work, man.
Right, and so what a lot of it is that we're both working towards the same goal, which is to enjoy each other and to get time with each other. And sometimes we would let something pass that would serve as a potential landmine. So the thing that might have caused an incident ends up being part of something else that has no relationship to.
Yeah.
So we're trying to, in the moment, and Claire's been sensational, and I've been trying to do likewise. But it's funny. I know people at the beginning of relationships, and we're decades on in our relationship. You always have to put in some effort.
Yeah.
You always have to, work to tweak things.
Well, so and I'll probably mess up the phrasing, but it's like let's
Sodomy.
Sodomy.
Yeah.
There you go. Back to you, Preston.
That's what fixes your relationship. No, what were you going to share?
I
Please.
have no idea. I don't even remember. Don't even worry about it. Yeah.
Okay, so
How do you move on from sodomy, bro?
You could.
you walk bow-legged for a little bit.
Yeah.
All right, so Dr. Courtney S. Warren says these are some of the phrases that successful long-term couples use daily. Here is the first one. You see me as I am, or thank you for loving me as I am, or I appreciate that I can be myself with you.
I think, that all makes sense. On this planet, is there anyone you feel more comfortable with than Rochelle?
No, like not even close.
Yeah, and it's
listen, for different reasons, but yeah, I mean, I've got my closest friends that I feel I don't mind being myself around, but there's no one that is more that I'm more comfortable with.
Yeah, and same with Claire.
So these phrases show that you're comfortable being vulnerable with your partner and feel safe enough not to hide parts of yourself from them. But listen, we all hide little parts of ourselves from everyone. I mean, there are certain, I would imagine, each one of us have tiny little itty-bitty secrets that are just yours and yours alone, So
There might be a body or two walled up in the house somewhere.
Maybe. You want to keep that to yourself.
Keep that secret until the smell becomes
Once you keep the smell down, you're good to go. That starts popping up, then honey, we need to talk.
Yeah.
All right, here's another phrase that successful long-term couples use. I trust you, or thank you for being respectful of me and our relationship, or we're a team, and I trust that you want what's best for the both of us.
So what you're saying, and what this survey, or what this therapist is saying, you're the therapist, is that ask yourself, are these questions you can ask you and your partner could say about each other?
Yeah, and you can say to them.
Say to them and have them not bust out laughing.
Yeah. So this one is essential, as trust is the basis of emotional security. So you've got to trust the other person. Here's another one. We'll get through this. Or one tough phase doesn't mean that it's over for us, or let's figure out this together.
What about one bad apple don't spoil the whole...
Wait, what is that?
It's from the Osmonds.
That's okay.
One bad apple don't spoil the whole bunch, man. Did you give up on love?
Your wife might not be into that.
So
it's hard to keep in mind the for better or for worse part of the vows all the time, because in the worse sections, you might be in a crap mood all the time, or you just everything wears thin. And getting through that, it's easy to get through the better times. It's harder to get through the worst times. And so I think that's what this bit of advice speaks to, is like, that's why your partner is there for you. And if you can trust that she or he is going to help you get through those crappy times, that's a really good faith to have in that person.
Right.
It's liberating to know you have that.
Yes.
I have not had it in my life until I had it with Claire the way I have it. To know with to know, again, I say, through thick and thin. I mean, it really, all those hackneyed phrases. Yeah, it's the truth.
Yeah. Although I have to opine here for a moment. I think vows are a bunch of garbage.
Yeah, no, I agree for the most part, but there's that
You prefer
phrase.
limericks?
There's that phrase that shows up in so many wedding vows, for better or for worse.
Right.
And so
Sickness and health.
that part of the for better or for worse part of it is just, to me, it's more of a bit of a mantra than a vow. Like, I've been married twice, right? So like I had vows in my first wedding. Guess what? Those vows didn't work out, Anybody that's been divorced, like the first time you do vows, like you kind of look back on the things that you said at your first wedding, you're like, all right, well, maybe that wasn't as important as it was on that day.
Yeah.
It didn't mean that you didn't mean it the first time around that you said it, but like the actual, how long did those vows last? But yeah, I mean, there is truth and to some of these things,
And
if you keep them in mind, it's helpful.
And I absolutely get the point you mean about that. It can be difficult to remember that hang on and let's work together on this, and we can get through all of this. And it doesn't work every single time, but it's important to have that communication that you're a team. Let's figure this out together. All couples, it says here, has conflict. What makes emotionally secure couples different is that they don't panic when it happens because they know that their relationship is strong enough to get through it.
And both sides usually have strong legal teams.
That too.
Yeah.
All right, here's another phrase used. Go out and have fun with your friends.
Yes.
Or, I'm glad you're making time for yourself. Or, thanks for giving me the space when I needed it too.
Yeah,
go ahead.
No, I was gonna say and I don't want to judge other couples and stuff like that, but like it really gets on my nerves when and I'm talking about other relationships when spouses don't allow each other to like go out and have a good time on their own.
I agree.
It is the road to ruin. If you honestly, if you don't and encourage that to spend time and do things. Like I asked Clara if she wanted to go to the Superman movie, and she didn't. Yeah, and I'm glad she told me. Yeah. I was really thrilled because it's like, good. I'm not going to drag you to something you don't want to see.
Yep.
And it was and that sort of stuff becomes important. And she's going to go do something else, and she'll have a good time.
You've triggered something. I cannot stand it when somebody says, "Oh, let me go check with the boss and see if I'm allowed to do that."
Yeah. Well, you're more like, quote unquote, checking with the boss to see if we don't have anything on the schedule already.
Fair.
You know what I mean? Like, I can understand that. Not to see if I can get permission from said boss.
I mean, that's usually my case. Exactly. Yeah. I'm like, is there something I forgot? Is there something I'm supposed to be doing that I said I was going to do that I completely forgot about?
But you keep calendars. So that you guys,
we do. But sometimes I forget to put those things on my calendar.
So, yeah.
Like your golf game.
Yeah, exactly.
No, seriously. No, I get it when it's that. And I also get it when it's, let me check with them as in like, please tell me that we have something else so I don't have to do this.
Yes.
Because that's when your partner is wonderful.
Don't we have that thing? Yeah.
But when it's the like, oh, I'm not in charge of my own schedule, let me check with that person. Oof.
So partners who trust each other don't feel threatened by time apart. They understand that independence is important and makes their bond stronger. Now, if I do, though, I still feel from time to time just a tinge of guilt if I'm going to go spend 6 hours out on the golf course, and I just want to make sure you got something to do too, or are you going to be, is this going to suck because I'm taking off? You know what I mean? And whatever.
I know what you're saying. Here, play with this dreidel.
A dreidel. It's out of season.
It's not dreidel season, but you can play with it.
Well, anyhow, another phrase used that long-term relationships have regularly used, and maybe you should as well, or can as well. I miss you is one. Or being apart helps me realize how grateful I am for you. Or I'm excited to see you when you get home.
Absence makes the heart grow fond.
There you go. Yeah. Missing someone is a sign that isn't a sign you're clingy. It shows that you're connected with each other. And then the last one on this list, another phrase that long-term relationships use, and I don't always like this one, but it's can we talk? Actually, it's usually we need to talk, not can we talk.
Yeah. So
time of day is important on that one.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
That hits a lot better in the afternoon than it does right before you go into bed.
Yep.
So I would say try to... And we've been on this run now, which is you try to, right when it's fresh, talk about it then and there.
Yeah.
You can tamp down things that could explode into something later on. You cut it right there. Of course, there's something, if you need time to think about it, you need to respect your partner's. I'd like to breathe a little bit and wrap my mind around that.
Absolutely.
And you have to be deferential and say, understand, we'll revisit.
Yeah.
And all these things, in theory, are bereft of crazy emotionalism. But if you can do that, it really does help.
The best response to can we talk is rolling your eyes and saying, oh, my God.
Yeah. You must be on the rag. Oh, I know what's going on. You're having your period, so you're incoherent.
Dude,
did I say all the right things?
I did that one time.
I know.
One
I know the story.
time.
Oh, my God. I can't believe you did that one time.
Well, that's because you're in your period, right?
It is.
I'll go live in the garage for a while.
Marissa, have you ever had that pulled on you? That would anyone have the audacity to suggest, over your years of relationships, that in an argument it was completely motivated by the time of the month?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
You better not.
You just know, right? I mean, that's like that's insane.
Yeah, that's like page 1 of the guy handbook.
That's like OJ would do something like
relationship.
that. Yeah.
Any guy listening, we just need a hug sometimes.
Just a support. And again, who's that guy who was Men Are From Mars?
Gray.
Yeah, John Gray.
John Gray. Yeah.
But he did have a good point.
Yeah.
People are not looking for a Mr. Fix-It.
No,
They want support.
That's it. I mean, it's really not that difficult. I remember this is years ago at a wedding with my wife, and I just, we were in the reception hall or whatever, and I went and got her a drink, and the ladies at the table were like, "Oh my God, he is getting you a drink!" Like, I was like, Yeah,
I'm getting her a drink.
I mean, like, is the bar so low at this table right now that like getting a drink is? I'm Prince Charming. Like,
I'm trying to get her hammer for crying out loud.
Yeah.
He put his hand on your back.
And it's so funny, and this can go both ways. A tiny gesture like that, for whatever reason, hitting at the right moment can mean the world to your significant other. But then there are times when you go out of your way to do something, and I'm like, I am the hero. This is great. And I get hey, thanks. And I'm like,
what?
But you have to weigh those. You have to weigh those things, because there have been other times when I've literally just, I've taken, after we've done eating, I've taken Rochelle's dish and I go put it in the sink, and she's like, oh.
I wasn't done.
No. But I mean, and it's like, if I need to put that into the coffer as well and go, okay, that has a lot of weight to it, even though that thing, this grand gesture I thought I was doing that got very little reaction. The other itty-bitty thing that meant nothing to me meant a lot to her. And so, you know what I mean?
So
this stuff, this all is accumulative.
And that goes to my thing and our recent thing of laying these landmines that are, so that something else that has nothing to do with you getting upset, or you keep these things that you sort of step on later on that take an issue that's really not a big issue, and you add this onto it. So, yes, I had to remind myself, Preston, that a lot of times if I was doing things, you just do it. That like it wasn't asked for. And then there are times when she's doing things that are just for me. But the one thing you can never go wrong with is making sure you acknowledge and say thank you.
Yeah,
and you have to train yourself to say that and make someone feel appreciated. It really goes a long way.
By the way, here's a text says, I'm officiating a wedding on Friday and absolutely referencing this segment.
Oh, good.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
By the way, little thing that Rochelle always did for years and years, and this is like before we had kids and stuff, and we were regularly in the car getting fast food or whatever, she would take, as I would be driving, she would take my hamburger, and then she would take the wrapper and she would fold it around neatly so that I could hold it and not make a mess. Right? And that, for whatever reason, that meant a lot to me.
Let's do it together.
And
it's a love language.
But I made a list of, I think this is when Rochelle turned 40, of the 40 things I love about you.
These are the things you no longer do for me. I just wanted you to know
things I used to really love that you did
that you no longer do.
No, and that was one. That was one of the things.
It is a one. Again, sitting in the car, Claire said, "Do you want me to feed you? The offers."
Feed you?
Yes, because we were eating soup.
Okay. Here comes the choo-choo train.
You want to go on a soup drive?
Listen, I grew up in a household where I think I was taught by like perfect example on how to treat each other.
Yes.
Yeah, you saw a loving couple together. Yep, exactly. And we've tried to make sure that our kids see that.
Oh, dude. Like, and I totally forgot about this, but like, let's say I felt like I was being treated unfairly by my mother, and I went to my dad, and if you said, she won't let me, he would go, she?
Yeah.
She?
Right.
Like, don't you dare. Like, it was like, don't you ever. ever refer to your mother as she. That is your mother. I was like, holy crap. Like,
Wow.
Yeah. My dad had my
That's a
mom.
bit excessive.
Well, I mean, listen, it's not like he beat the hell out of me.
He was
but it
having her back, though.
He had her back.
Yeah,
and
I
it's
gotcha.
like, dude, you better show some
She?
respect. Yeah.
She.
Dare you?
Lay down. I'm going to put my cigarette out on your forehead.
Not again.
All right, so these are some phrases that you may want to keep in mind. And
I like that list.
I'll go through them real quickly. You see me as I am. I trust you. We'll get through this. Go out and have fun with your friends. I miss you. And can we talk? So according to this Harvard-trained psychologist, these are phrases that long-lasting couples use regularly.
And just try to employ a few now and then.
You want some more relationship information?
Yes.
This.
Sweet mystery of life, at last I found me.
So we are spending time with the therapist, also known as Dr. Love, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. New research finds that it's linked that public displays of affection, PDA, kissing, cuddling in public, is linked to greater relationship satisfaction. According to a new study from the University of Silesia in Poland, couples who aren't afraid of displaying some affection, like holding hands, snuggling, and smooching, both in public and private, tend to be happier in their relationships.
All right. So, yes, I think that is absolutely true. Pegging, though.
Not in public.
Not in public.
Not
Not in public. I mean, this is just in public, Steve. You get arrested for that.
Hotel rooms.
Hotel rooms. I would say this is that you should. You should naturally feel the urge
the curtain's drawn.
to
I mean,
peg someone. Yeah. No, you should feel that. I'm gonna kiss Claire or hold her hand. I mean, it's right. I mean, when you're in public, and there are times when it's not appropriate.
Right. Cuckold is more communal. There's more people involved.
I'm
so
just
maybe
watching,
that's.
folks.
Yeah, I'm just watching.
Yeah. Hey, they're pegging.
Don't mind me.
Oh, my man.
I get away with certain levels of PDA, and I would do more if my wife were to allow it, but she don't. And so, Steve, no pegging whatsoever in public, but also like she's cool with holding hands and hugging, but like more than that,
smooching.
She gets uncomfortable. Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, don't. Yeah,
I have to be respectful of her wishes.
Exactly.
And that's totally fine. But I mean,
it's not
come
a
on.
commentary.
Especially if I'm a few drinks in, I'm like, let's make out. And no, we're not getting anywhere.
The old Will Ferrell bit on SNL with the "my lover." The two guys were just all over each other all the time. Researchers found that PDA is also linked to improved well-being, lower stress, and even more satisfaction with life in general. The benefits of getting a little bit of cuddle in are worth it. Study authors point out that their research underscores the importance of affectionate behaviors in romantic relationships. They go as far as suggesting that encouraging appropriate expressions of affection can strengthen romantic bonds.
Hey, you guys sleep in separate bedrooms
Yes.
at least during the week or whatever. Do you give your wives kisses goodbye before you leave for work?
No,
you're not in
I
the same
used
house.
to.
Yeah.
I used to, but I'd be waking her up.
Yeah, dude, there's no way I'm waking Shell up at. I leave the house right at about a little after 4 a.m. and I'm no.
Yeah, I do it every day.
That's counterproductive.
Yeah, and it wakes her up, and we've had this conversation more than once, and she's like, there was a stretch where she's like, I don't really think I want to be awakened anymore. And I was like, that's fine, and now she's like, and then there was a week or so where I didn't do it. She missed it, and so now I do it every day. And she likes it.
So if I were to do it, I'd walk in, I'd wake up the dog who's at her to the side of the bed, 14 cats.
Yeah.
It would be like Dr. Doolittle, and so
I think it's different if you're sleeping in the same bed. In the
same bed, I would certainly do that.
Yeah.
What do you get up, get cleaned up and everything, and then kiss her right before you walk out?
and then dive on her.
Yeah. Actually, yeah.
No, the only time I'll do it, so I do see her every morning because I go to I use the shower in the main bedroom. But if she happens to wake up and says something to me, yeah, I'll go over.
Yeah,
and
you
give
don't
her a
want to
kiss.
wake her up.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
Kind of hell. Have a great effing day.
Man, we live in a loud house too, so anytime I go anywhere, the floors are just creaky and the steps are loud. So like, I think anytime I'm moving in the morning, I'm waking her up anyway. So yeah, I don't. It's I don't know. It's a nice way to start the day, and for me to say goodbye to her and she appreciates it. I like doing that.
Okay. So speaking of sleep, I have another therapist story. Yeah. A recent study, this study was done with heterosexual couples. They found that those who slept in physically closer positions on the onset of sleep reported lower stress and less insecure emotional attachment. However, the individual sleep positions people preferred, such as sleeping on their backside or stomach, were not associated with the positions they took when sleeping with their partner. While sleep is often studied as an individual activity, most adults share the bed with a romantic partner. Sleeping with a partner can promote feelings of safety and emotional connection, which may enhance sleep quality, and physical closeness during sleep, such as cuddling or spooning, can increase the release of oxytocin, a hormone that's associated with bonding and relaxation. Research suggests that couples who synchronize their sleep patterns tend to report higher relationship satisfaction and better sleep quality.
So I determined a while ago I like to be. I don't have blanket. I have one blanket on me. I don't like to be under the covers. I don't like body heat.
Yeah.
I just don't like it. I'm sleeping in a separate bedroom, so that helps facilitate that. I've heard it from more people now. I think it's okay to say, I don't like to be intertwined with someone while I'm trying to sleep.
Yeah.
It's not going to work for me.
Some people like it, and it works for them, and other people's don't. I think that I think it's an outdated notion of that it's some form of abandonment.
Yeah.
If you're not in the same bed together. I mean, listen, you need sleep. It's healthy for you. It's unhealthy for you to not get sleep. And if you have different conditions like my wife and I do, or you just don't like that body to body, it's too warm for me.
Too warm,
yeah.
Then you're not going to get a good night's sleep.
It's a little bit better when the bed's bigger, but I remember being in college and I'm like, I was just so excited to share a bed with a female, and those beds are so tiny.
It's a twin.
It's barely a twin.
Yeah.
The thinnest mattress ever. Yeah.
This is great.
Yeah.
The study authors noted that while couples often maintain their own side of the bed, they regularly cross this boundary for cuddling, affection, and sex, of course. They also pointed out that people may adopt different sleep positions when sharing a bed compared to when sleeping alone. The study surveyed 143 heterosexual couples. The average age was 43 for men, 40 for women, and couples had been together for an average of 13 years. 52 couples reported having the same chronotype, which is morning or evening preference. The results showed no significant association between an individual's preferred sleeping position and the couple's sleep position at onset. However, couples who reported physically closer sleep positions, such as spooning, sleeping intertwined, or face-to-face.
Oh, man.
Also also reported lower levels of perceived stress and lower levels of anxious or avoidant attachment. I don't know what avoidant attachment is.
I don't want to be with you.
Preston, you ever get anywhere with your bedroom idea? The entire room is out of a bed?
Man, no, I never did.
I would have invested in that.
Yeah.
That's I love that idea, and somebody should invent that. It's brilliant.
We went to a marriage counselor years ago, a therapist, wonderful, helped us a great deal. Always recommend if you're having issues. A third party is always a wonderful thing to do. She had that. She had the room was all mattress.
Just all mattress, and that was the concept. You open up the door, and immediately right there at the door, 2.5 feet up or however tall a bed is, the mattress starts right there.
Right.
The entire room. And I just wanted a shelf that goes all the way around the room as well that was up just a little
like
bit.
John Lennon's
things on.
Bed and Help.
Something like that's a sunken bed.
Yeah.
That's a little bit different than that. But I want it up, raised up, and as soon as you walk in the door, all bed. Someday I'll have that. All right. Do we have time?
We do not.
Oh, we got to wrap this up.
Yeah.
That just means that we'll have to do it another time, folks. We'll make an appointment with the therapist, Dr. Love.
They call me Dr. Love.
Down the road, we'll get to it again. But hopefully, you gleaned a little bit of information from this segment, and it helps you out in your relationship situation, or your situationship, as we were talking about. All right, let's take a break and come back in a moment. The reason we are stopping now, we got to go on a Fox Good Day. We'll spend some time with them, and got some bizarre file stories I saved up for you. Those are next. Stay there.
Preston and Steve.
Hey!
James.
D, demonstrate value. E, you're going to engage physically. N, you are going to nurture that dependence. The second N, you are going to make sure you neglect emotionally. I, you are going to inspire hope. And then with that S, you are going to separate entirely.
That's correct.
Well done.
That was impressive, James. All right, 2 points for James on question number 1 of round number 2 as we are playing
The battle of the self-proclaimed experts.
I don't get tired of it.
I love that I can just point to Steve and he'll do that. All right, here we go. Question number 2. Here we go. When the gang buys a boat, Dee is in charge of cleaning out the old stuff, but she throws it overboard. When Charlie starts to find the items, what does he believe?
Hey!
James?
There's a horse cemetery down there with dolls and figurines of sorts.
All right, let me go for a ruling on that. Okay, we have a correct answer. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Relics of an ancient horse massacre.
Horse massacre.
That is, we would have accepted. So 2 more points.
I forgot that.
Going to James. Third question. What is the name of Patty's rival bar in the...
Hey!
All right, James.
Molly's.
Molly's is correct. Wow. That is from the episode The Gang Reignites the Rivalry. Fourth question of round 2. Mac creates an exercise bike in Hero or Hate Crime. What is the name of it? Alex.
Am I allowed to say this on air?
You can.
All right, Ass Pounder 4000.
Yes, the Ass Pounder 4000.
I was thinking the same thing.
By the way, the bloopers from that episode, some of the funniest things you'll ever see.
I make sure, I watch my mouth a little bit. That's
Nope, it's all good. All right, we can always dump out on you to do something inappropriate. All right, and then the fifth and final question from round number 2.
Round number 2.
Who is the local news reporter that Dennis fantasizes? Alex?
Jackie DiNardo.
Yep.
That's correct. Yeah, Jackie DiNardo. And that is the end of round 2. Nick, what is our total so far?
In round number 2, James got 6 points, Alex got 4, and now James leads 8-6.
Wow.
All right, 8-6. So it is anybody's game.
It's anybody's game.
Because round 3 takes us up quite a notch. These are the most difficult questions that we could come up with, and therefore they are going to be worth 5 points each.
5 points each.
So this can absolutely take off.
So
Take off.
I want to ask you guys, as far as the prize is concerned, because it is a VIP experience for the It's Always Sunny podcast at the Met. Are you more excited about the parking situation? Because parking at the Met can be really tough. Or is it meeting the gang?
I've never been to the Met, so I'm not too sure how the whole parking thing is, but
Talking past experience, parking is actually higher on that list than I'm proud to admit.
Have you guys
in this scenario?
Have you guys ever had the opportunity to meet anybody from the show?
From the show directly? No, I have not.
All right.
So this is huge.
They're fantastic.
Yeah, you guys are going to love it. Whoever gets this is going to have a wonderful experience that night. All right, we're ready for the third and final round. 5 points per question, our hardest ones yet.
Battle of the self-proclaimed experts.
Let's begin.
Begin.
Question number 1, here we go. What name does Dennis refer to Frank's character, the troll, in the Nightman Cometh?
Hey!
James.
His name is Antonio in the show itself.
That is correct. Yes, that's a correct answer. Antonio. Dennis refers to him as Antonio before he shoots him.
Bang, bang.
And that is from the Nightman Cometh episode. All right, question number 2. What size shoe? Alex.
13.
Yes! Wow. To finish the question. What size shoe does Sweet D wear? And that is from the episode Who Pooped the Bed? A size 13. 5 points. All right, we have 3 more questions to go in round number 3. Here we go. Pappy McPoyle, the patriarch of the McPoyle family, has a pet Pocono swallow. Alex wants to answer. Alex?
Royal McPoyle.
That is correct!
Wow, played.
That is from McPoyle and Ponderosa, the trial of the century. So 5 points for Alex.
Wow.
4th question in the 3rd round. What are the names of the 2 episodes that Preston and Steve are... James?
The gang gets whacked, part 1 and 2.
That is incorrect.
This is not good radio.
So I'll finish the question for Alex. What are the names of the 2 episodes that Preston and Steve are both in?
All right. Charlie Goes America, all over everybody's asses, and Mac's Big Break.
That is incorrect.
Dead air.
It was indeed Mac's Big Break, but the other was America's Next Top Patties Billboard Model Contest.
You starred in.
Yeah, Casey and I were in the Charlie episode.
That's
yeah.
correct.
You might remember us from the high five we gave in the background.
Yeah, in the van, right?
I was in, Steve and I were in the one with the construction workers. That was the Billboard contest.
And we were with
and
some,
Mac's Big Break was the
Eagles players were with us.
The Flyers game. That's correct. Yes. All right. So the last question we pose to you has to do with the episode that Kathy was in. All right.
The episode Kathy was in.
In the episode that Kathy was in, Dennis looks like a registered sex offender was the name. What was the name of the sex offender?
What a good question.
In the episode that Kathy was in, Dennis looks like a registered sex offender. What was the name of the sex offender? Alex.
Wendell Smart Eyes. Smart Eyes was his nickname.
All right, I'm going to the judges, and they were giving a correct answer for Alex on that one. We would have also accepted Wendell Albright, but Wendell Smart Eyes is correct. And we go to Nick McElwain for the total. And how did we do after round 3?
With 15 points in round 3 and a grand total of 21 points overall, our winner is Alex!
Oh, my goodness. Alex rallied. I thought James had it.
Listen, they're insane, both of them, with their incredible command of this knowledge. But at the end, Alex, you did it, man. Good job.
Thanks, guys.
Wow.
Yeah, that was awesome. Good job.
James, your knowledge is...
I'm gonna kick a little ass.
Hang on.
Ass in the USA. Gonna climb a mountain. Gonna soar a flag. Gonna fly on an eagle. I'm gonna kick some butt. I'm gonna drive a big truck. I'm gonna rule this world. I'm gonna kick some ass. I'm gonna rise. I'm gonna kick a little ass. Rock, flag, and eagle.
Beautiful.
James, your knowledge is impressive. Oh my God, he's got a bag of spaghetti.
I forgot to ask you guys what your spaghetti policy was.
Alex, did you bring some cat food to eat?
I brought no cat food. No, I should have brought a bag of spaghetti. That looks pretty good right now.
You want some?
No, I'm good.
Oh man,
It's good stuff. They know their stuff.
I wish we could send you both, guys.
You know what? We might
got
not be
spaghetti.
able to get James into the event, but we can set him up with parking somewhere around the city.
Yeah, maybe we could do that.
If I'm within the vicinity of the event, that's actually still pretty cool.
Well, we are going to set up for Alex as the winner of the self-proclaimed expert of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, a VIP experience, tickets, parking, food and beverage,
Yes.
and a meet and greet with the gang for the It's Always Sunny podcast live Monday, September 19th at the Met.
Yeah. I don't think we could have had 2 better contestants. Great job, guys.
All right, you know what? We had tiebreaker questions, and I hate to see these
Let's
go to
do it.
waste.
Let's
Want
do it.
me to
Yeah.
ask
Yeah.
these just for fun?
Please,
This is for
please.
fun. We'll have you in. All right, so okay.
Tiebreaker question.
But not for points.
But not for points.
All right.
Just for the hell of it.
Who did the
Why we're
Flyers?
doing this.
Who did the Flyers play during the shooting of Mac's Big Break?
Wow.
During the actual shooting of it.
Not the actual murder.
I'm gonna just say the Devils off of guess. Are we buzzing him off?
Nah, just go ahead.
I was gonna
Nope.
say the New Jersey
Yeah, I was going to
Devils.
say the Red Wings, but
Nope, it was the Montreal Canadiens.
there's some red in there.
Played the Habs, yeah. All right, and then the last one, we had a second one ready to go. In Hero or Hate Crime, the arbitrator scratches the ticket. Now, buzz in if you do know the answer to this. And it revealed the ticket won $10,000 as Mac takes the ass pounder for. Yes.
I'm gonna guess $14.
That is correct. James would have got that right. As Mac takes the ass pounder 4,000 and his ticket and leaves. The others are presented with the bill. How much has Mac left? And it was $14. They used 3 arbitrators in 17 hours. The bill was $9,986. They decided that Mac should pay for it because arbitration was his idea, which will leave him with just $14 because $10,000 minus $9,986 equals 14.
There you go.
Of course, we all know how that works out. You guys were great. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.
For being so much fun and for the encyclopedic-like knowledge that you have of one of the great shows of all time.
Let me ask him quickly. James, your favorite It's Always Sunny episode of all time. Wow.
Wow. See, I got hooked early on, probably like late season 2, 3.
Right.
So I have an affinity for those. Season 4 is some of my just absolute favorite. Mac and Charlie as manhunters. And when they hunt Cricket down for that entire episode is one of my favorites.
Okay.
I'd probably go somewhere around that range, at least that time, manhunters.
All right, good choices. And you, Alex?
I think same thing. Those seasons 4, 5, and 6 were probably the best. But my favorite, I think, is probably Charlie Catches a Leprechaun.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
That one's a later one, but
There's so many to choose from. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I know
Fantastic stuff.
You guys love the
Family Feud.
The Family Feud
It's just
episode.
so good.
It's so great. When D-Bus is in for the first time.
Knocks it off
Smashes
the
the
podium. It's the best.
And then you later learn that Charlie was the one of the survey members coming up with the answer. It was great.
All right. Well, thank you guys again. We appreciate. Yes, go ahead, James.
Genuinely, I just want to thank you guys. Like, this is a literal dream of mine. Always Sunny. This was fun. I came into this like, yeah, cool. They get to meet the gang. Alex, literally have the time of your life.
Yeah,
Thankfully, I have tickets for the Sunday show. So, it would, best case scenario. I said it prior to us going there. Like, literally hearing your guys' voice through this feed right now live is unreal and surreal to me right now, and to be standing here talking to you.
That's
so
very kind.
this
Very
enough
kind.
is beyond a dream and a life experience. So thank you guys.
Now I don't feel so bad that you lost. Thank you, James.
Me neither.
You are
It's
the
great.
best.
Alex, you say something nice now.
I'm not going to be able to top that. I do podcasts you guys all the time.
Yeah.
So,
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, it's awesome being here.
Excellent. Well, give us when you go, and we want to hear about the experience and how you
Yes.
get a good time you had.
Will do.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Excellent. All right.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much,
guys, Alex and James. Always Sunny, the battle.
of the Silver Lane Experts.
All right, we're gonna take a break.
Brought to you in Dolby Vision.
We'll be back in just a moment. Stay with us.
Preston and Steve.
In a little while.
Yeah,
Some
yeah.
BMW Centers now through July 31st during the BMW Summer Sales Event. Take advantage of exceptional offers on the all-electric BMW i4. Details at bmwcenters.com, and that's your traffic on 93.3 WMMR.
Thanks, Marissa. Just a reminder, the Word of the Week prize is a short-lettered word, I should say, this week. 4 letters. We're giving away some pit tickets to the return of the 99 tour. So it's Creed, Daughtry, and Mammoth. And that is this Saturday at Freedom Mortgage Pavilion. So we will give that away on Friday. But you need the letter of the day starting today. We got one yesterday, and we'll get 4 altogether by the time we get to Friday. You can get the tickets for that event at Ticketmaster, and some tickets to remain for the show. We got about 10 seconds. We will hear some music that will start to swell up, and that means that they're about ready to spotlight us on TV on Fox 29, and we'll check in with Mike and Karen. Here we go.
Preston and Steve, I have known a few people in my life. This was more back in the 70s, I guess, and 60s. They would have nicknames for their cars. Preston, do you have a nickname for your car?
Not currently, but I did back in the day, Mike. I had a car. I had a Mustang that I nicknamed the Cleaver.
The Cleaver?
And the reason it was called the Cleaver was
Why?
because it had a 351 Cleveland engine in it. And so we called it the Cleaver.
Wow.
But I had several people who had nicknames for cars. Some of them can't be said here. The one was called See You Next Tuesday was the name of one of them. And
jeez.
Yeah.
another one was The Beast.
The Beast probably more appropriate in mixed company.
My buddy Greg had a Maverick. Remember the old Maverick?
Yes.
That was The Beast.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But I haven't.
Because cars had personalities.
Yeah, the last car I nicknamed, we had 2 cars, and one was yellow and one was black, so I named one Betty and one Veronica.
Ah.
So we had fun with that, blonde and brunette.
I always nickname the cars that I have. So my early ones were all bombs, so I named them Deathmobiles in honor of Animal House. And then my first new car was a 300C, which looked like the Green Hornet's Black Beauty, so I called it the Black Beauty. And now my car I called the Batmobile because it has sort of a sleek look to it, and I've had a couple of Batmobiles.
An old girlfriend of mine had a car called Chuck. It was Chuck Cutlass.
Chuck
was his name.
It sounds like a bad porn star.
I love that.
It's a porn star.
Chuck Cutlass.
Cutlass. Yeah.
How about you guys?
And I think people tend to name, I always think Jeeps are popular to name because
Yes.
they have like a great personality, kind of jaunty. And then Bugs, the VW Bugs. Sheila Allen Stevens was a reporter in this market for a long time. She always had funny names for her bugs that I can't say on TV, surprisingly. But.
Another filthy word, yeah.
I was trying to guess who on the crew there would have a nickname. It seemed like Casey Boy would have a nickname for his car.
You would think, but I don't. I mean, I do have a Jeep, and we call it a Jupe, but that's really just a joke. Because if you ever see on the back of a Jeep, sometimes they'll have paw prints for the E's.
Right.
That makes it look like an O. Right, so I'll call it a Jupe.
But Casey spends a lot of his time thinking about what future pets he will have and their names. So I'm surprised you don't name your vehicles.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. You know what? My buddy Ed had a car that he called his name was Dumb, and I think I love that so much that I could never. You know what I mean? That was
you could
so
never top
good.
it.
I could never top it.
So am I the only one that has a nickname? Because I call mine the Batmobile.
Yeah.
Right now.
All right, there we go. Sorry to disappoint, guys.
Well, that's okay.
Sorry, man.
Casey, but what's the thing with the Jeeps that people are doing right now? I forget what it is. Like they exchange things or they put things on your hood. What is it?
Yeah, you've been ducked. And I honestly, I don't know the genesis of being ducked, but they leave little rubber duckies on your windshield.
And sometimes you'll see people driving the road. They've got them all down their dashboard. Yeah.
Oh, and sometimes they'll do these things where they put these big clamps on your tires so you can't roll away.
So funny.
That's so funny.
It's so funny.
I don't know who's doing that, but it's hilarious. Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All right. We're going to continue this discussion.
Take care, guys. We'll see you. All right. Nice. Yeah.
Started off as Duck Duck Jeep. And it's not that old. It started back in 2020, and I don't know if it was like COVID-related thing or whatever, but it was just a way for people to show appreciation for one another in the Jeep community.
So when did the cheese thing start? The slices of cheese.
That was a
Is that
phase
just your neighborhood?
that came and went in my neighborhood. Kids were throwing slices of cheese onto cars. We got cheesed.
You got cheesed.
I thought it was pretty funny, actually.
I feel like the duck thing has been going on since well before 2020.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
But not according.
I want every American to put a duck on their car.
And it came true one day after
By the way, the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor. I probably should have led with that.
My youngest has named their car Bubbles after the Powerpuff Girls.
Okay.
So
that's cool.
Cabriolets always used to get nicknames. Mini Coopers.
Yep.
Nick, you
The
drove up
the Cabriolets were known. They had a nickname as Bitch Bucket.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that.
I don't know if you ever knew that because they looked like they had a handle.
Right,
and,
right.
And girls drove them. I didn't make it up. I'm just telling you what I heard.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a girl car for sure.
Yeah.
I had two minis, Steve. Neither one of them had a nickname. I had a black Nissan SX SE, which was the coupe version of the Nissan Sentra. That was like one of the first cars that I owned. And because it was called the SX SE and it was black, I just called it Black Sexy. That was not a very creative nickname.
Black Sexy.
Yeah, but I think that. And we had White Lightning. That was the Buick Skylark. Casey, you and I both drove Buick Skylarks. That was an 87 or 88. And then it lost part of its grill at one point, so it looked like it only had one tooth. And we had a repairman when we were growing up, and his name was Pete, and he only had one tooth, so we called the Buick Skylark Pete.
Yes, I told you earlier. My neighbor is British, and she has a Mini Cooper, and she's named it Nigel.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
I love that. Excellent. What were you going to say about the?
I don't remember.
What car were you just talking about? The white,
the Skylark.
The Skylark.
Because we had one as well, but we didn't nickname it that. They called it the Little Limousine.
Okay. Yeah.
So we would refer to it as the Little Limo.
And that Skylark, that was the one where my grandmother said, "We don't need a cassette player, Tom."
And Nick, did that Skylark have metallic mint green paint with a white convertible top?
No.
Okay, just
What about positive traction?
Oh, it had positive traction. Well, no, it didn't have positive traction.
Yeah. What year was that? The one they were talking about in My Cousin Vinny.
68?
Okay,
I think, yeah.
Ours was in 89.
Okay. All right. It is time now for the Bizarre File.
WMMR presents Preston and Steve's Bizarre File.
Correction, it was a 1964 Buick Skylark.
Identical.
All right. B-File brought to you this morning by Horizon Services. Suffering from leaks, clogs, or corrosion in your plumbing system, the expert technicians at Horizon Services have seen it all. They can fix it all with same-day service. You can book today at Horizon Services, and help is on the way. We'll start with this. 2 Illinois youth baseball coaches were fired after they were apparently caught on video streaking on a baseball diamond in front of players at the Cooperstown tournament in New York.
That's just in bad taste.
The coach's firing is just the beginning. The Lake Bluff Youth Baseball Association said they're working with law enforcement authorities, mostly because the coaches apparently stripped down in the presence of children.
Oh, geez.
Children can be heard laughing on video that shows 2 men nude, one sprawling over home plate at a New York baseball field. Last weekend, the coaches, for reasons unknown and caught on video, decided to go full Monty, forcing the team to be disqualified and the local sheriff's department in New York to be called in.
Hey, look at our balls.
Sheriff's office said deputies responded after security asked the 2 men to leave, and they refused. By the time deputies arrived, the men had left, and any potential witnesses had also left the park. After later obtaining video of the incident, deputies tried to interview anyone involved, but by then the team had returned home to Illinois.
You guys don't know the true meaning of baseball.
They said, we are treating this matter with the utmost seriousness and have contacted the relevant authorities. The sheriff's office said the 2 coaches will not face criminal charges, though. So this is pretty wild. The airport in the northern Italian city of Bergamo briefly suspended flights on Tuesday due to a runway incident that local media said involved someone running onto the tarmac, getting sucked into an airplane engine and dying.
Whoa.
The Bergamo Milan Airport Authority said that all flights were suspended due to a problem that occurred on the taxiway. An investigation was underway for this. Video footage posted showed a body bag on the tarmac next to the aircraft with fire crews nearby.
We've had a little incident where someone was blown into tiny little chunks.
The newspaper, citing unnamed airport officials, said someone ran onto the tarmac as the plane was taking off, got sucked into the engine, and died. The plane, an Airbus A319 of the Voloda airline, was flying from Oreo to Spain. And quoting an unnamed investigator, they said it could potentially have been suicide, which is pretty wild.
Believe it or not, I've heard about a few incidents in which that was the case. And Preston, I know you've seen the footage, as amazing as it is, on the deck of an aircraft carrier. Somebody working on a fighter jet got sucked into the engine and came out the other side and lived.
Whoa.
Deciding to jump into a jet engine?
Yeah.
I mean, you may as well dive into a wood chipper.
Yes.
I mean, it's a similar fate, right? All right. I saw this video yesterday. I showed it to Nick this morning. It popped up on my Instagram. Former NHL enforcer Nick Tarnasky was involved in a brutal golf course fight where he punched a rival several times and pushed him into a lake last week.
That must have been the footage I was watching yesterday on social media, because I was like, they said a well-known NHL player, and I'm like, oh, I didn't recognize the guy.
The confrontation between, no, you wouldn't have. The confrontation between Tarnasky and his friends and the rival group was already heated by the time the video starts, with a former Florida Panther appearing to be upset with how long the opposing group is taking to play. Canadian police responded to the reports of an intoxicated person instigating a fight at Alberta Springs Golf Resort in Red Deer, which appeared to be the person taking exception with Tarnasky. By the time police arrived, the person in question was gone, with no arrest or further investigation taking place. The alleged drunk Canadian endured quite a lot before leaving the property, in what could have been a scene out of the show Letterkenny, with several Canadians yelling at each other before the fighting. Tarnasky and the rival were jawing at each other for a minute before the former NHLer gets charged at. So the drunk guy runs at him. He's trying to fight him. The next we see Tarnasky throw the guy into the pond right there at the hole. The unidentified rival golfer crawls out of the water and challenges Tarnasky to a fight. With his possibly also drunk friend trying to stop the exchange. Tarnasky lands 5 solid punches to his rival's head. And the funny part is, while he's hitting him, he's saying the word bang. He's going, bang, bang,
Well,
bang,
wow.
like that.
Providing your own sound effects. It's a courtesy.
So the drunken golfer walks back up wanting to brawl more. The guy just keeps coming back for more. The final move of the fight takes place with Tarnasky tossing the rival golfer several feet towards the water. At that point, his friend intervenes, stops the brawl, apparently to get his friend back into the golf cart and drive away. The former NHLer has not played in the league since 2010 and spent more time in the American Hockey League. In 486 AHL games, he had 881 penalty minutes, by the way.
Yeah, and there's a definite size difference.
Oh my God.
Why would their
Dude's
friends?
huge.
Oh, dude, get it out of here. Like, I would do, if this was any of you guys, I would do everything I could to keep you away from
And
that.
the guy was drunk and they were playing slow and he couldn't play golf. So I can see why they were upset with him. But the idiot went and charged after this mountain of a human being. All right, moving on. So this is a story out of, where is this? I'm not sure what country this is in, but it is, I believe, a rugby team. So a former Lazio mascot trainer who was fired in January for posting explicit images online, has finally been evicted from the club's premises after a 6-month standoff. And this is an interesting story. So Juan Bernabe, who trained the club's mascot, Olympia, was a falcon or an eagle, I think, was dismissed from his role at the start of the year for sharing footage of his prosthetic penis implant, which left the club shocked and prompted his immediate termination.
I need more people to see this.
No, this is in Italy, Nick just found out. Despite being asked to leave the club's complex on multiple occasions, Bernabe continued to reside there without permission. However, following a court order, a warrant was executed to evict him. In a statement to the club, Lazio announced that following the order issued by the judge, the eviction of him was executed, but he was occupying accommodation within the center without authorization. So he defended his choice to share the content, explaining that he hails from a naturist family, and aimed to give visibility to the procedure. He said, I published it to give visibility to the intervention. I come from a naturist family and do not understand why it is likened with pornography. However, they deemed his actions as incompatible with the club's ethical values and decided to sever ties with him. This also isn't the first time that he's been in trouble with the club either. In 2021, he was suspended for performing a fascist salute after a match against Milan, chanting Duce, Duce, meaning leader, leader, associated with former Italian Prime Minister Benito Mussolini. At the time, Bernabe said, I did it and I don't regret it because I admire Mussolini. He did great things for Italy as Franco did for Spain.
And they got rid of this great advocate for the sport.
Yes. Despite his previous actions causing concern among football fans, he reinstated, so it's a soccer team, they reinstated him due to his bond with the official mascot and its followers. However, it appears that they now have cut ties with him altogether for showing his prosthetic
So I
penis.
praise Mussolini and I show you my prosthetic penis. I guess I just can't do anything right.
All right, and there you go. That's what I have in the bizarre file for you. Real quick, do you want to go to Connor here, who says he knows what the origin of the duck on the Jeep thing was, which we were just talking to Fox 29 about? Connor, you're on the air. Good morning, man.
Good morning, Gadzooks.
Gadzooks, what's going on?
So, the young woman's name was Allison Parliament, and early COVID, she was on a road trip, and she was having a really bad day, and she stopped for gas, and in the gas station, they had little rubber ducks, and she saw a fellow Jeep, pumping gas. So she wrote a little note and said, I love your Jeep. Have a great day. Duck, duck, Jeep. And the other Jeep owner posted a picture of it, and it went, viral. And so
that's simple.
That's what started it all.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a great story.
Yeah, she became a Jeep ambassador and everything, and they would bring her to events, and she had, rubber ducks made and everything. It was really cool.
That's cool.
She's probably made some good money off it, too.
Connor, are you a Jeep owner?
Yes,
Okay, and have you gotten ducked before?
I have.
Okay. We've been a Jeep owner for 8-9 years. Never gotten one.
You got cheesed.
What?
You're fine.
Yeah, we did get cheese. That's true. All right. Well, thank you, Connor. Appreciate the story. That's really cool. Have a good one.
Thanks, you guys.
All right. We'll
Have
see
a
you.
good one.
Yeah. Have you gotten ducked?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never had it happen.
Is that amongst the automobiles and that's those sort of legends and nods and things you do in passing? I've never really gotten, I might have gotten one the other day because I had the exact same model of my car. I got a light flash.
Something like that.
But I don't.
An acknowledgement?
Yeah, that's.
I mean, the Jeep, you get a wave.
You get the Jeep wave.
What is the Jeep wave? Standard?
Just wave.
When you pass each other on the
Right.
highway, you just put your 2 fingers up.
Right.
When I do that, I actually say out loud, Jeep wave. Do you do that?
No.
Jeep wave.
No, I do not.
Here's what I think, and this is what I want to start doing, because there is a friendly rivalry between Jeep owners and Bronco owners. I want those guys to give each other the middle finger as they pass each other on the street.
Okay. You're looking to encourage road rage.
No, not road rage. Not road rage. I think it'll just be funny. So if you are driving a Jeep or a Bronco right now and you're going past somebody on the road and you're listening to this, flip that person off.
Corvettes wave to each other, too.
Do they?
Oh, okay.
Yep, absolutely.
I have 2 Subarus, so I am an honorary lesbian.
Yeah.
Do you do this?
Yes.
When, yeah.
And then we trib.
You put your fingers as a V and stick your tongue in between them. Those, I don't really know many other.
I've never really.
Motorcycles.
Motorcycles, yes.
The hand down wave.
Did
thing.
you ever get on your.
I did. Dude, it was
on his Vespa.
On my
your
Vespa.
Vespa?
I got a motorcycle wave, and my wife was driving behind me, and she just thought it was the funniest thing. But but the truth is, I think motorcycle riders respect scooter riders way more than regular people do. Right? I've never been made fun of for having a Vespa by anybody who rides a motorcycle.
Do you think it's because they see it as all in the same family?
Yep.
Okay.
Most of them do. Yeah.
Respect, man.
I wonder if motorcyclists though. The 3 wheels, if they don't have.
Ooh.
I heard a lot of motorcyclists say they frown on 3-wheel vehicles.
I don't know. I don't really care for those things either. There's something about
I
them.
kind of always wanted to drive one and see what it's like, but
Can't really lean on them.
That's what I was wondering. Yeah.
All right. Anyway, we could keep going on, but we're not. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back in a moment. Stay put. We will return in just a few seconds or so. But first, I wanted to get into this. I wanted to mention this article that I saw about people in the service industry, in fact, more specifically, women in the service industry. And apparently, this was floating around on TikTok, like pretty much
everything floats around on TikTok these days.
But it was a bit of a social experiment to find out if sporting pigtails at work would earn more tips from male patrons.
Okay.
And
I can guess.
From servers to dancers, those who have participated in the experiment shared their experiences on TikTok. And they say that their tips have increased since they've been using the hairstyle at work. Like, overwhelmingly, like everyone.
Wow.
Had seen
I can see that coming. Yeah, for some reason. And what do they conjecture as to what's that?
It's cutesy.
Yeah, I think it's got to be it, right?
Well,
would a ponytail do the same?
No.
No, pigtails.
Pigtails.
So a server who's among these sharing the results said, unfortunately, women are going to be fetishized in different ways by what they look like. If changing my hair up is going to affect that in a positive way, then it's something I'm going to give a shot to, they said. So, yeah. So, apparently, the pigtails experiment first appeared on TikTok after a server named Grace posted that she made more tips when she wore pigtails to work in a video. And she doesn't describe it as an experiment in the video, but points out how wearing her hair that way led to more tips. She said, when you wear pigtails to work, you make double the amount of tips as usual.
Double?
Yeah.
Wow. Mm-hmm. I'd wear pigtails. It'd be hard, obviously. I'd have to pull my flesh out.
We could glue some on to you, maybe, something
I'd look like
that.
a rabbi.
But it led me to, thinking about what people in the service industry might do to actively try and get more tips. And that would be changing something, whether it be their appearance or whatever it may be.
Did you ever have a job where you had tips?
Just pizza delivery.
I never did. Never in my entire life.
That was the only thing that I ever did.
Did you have long hair then?
Yeah.
Did you put your hair in pigtails?
No, I didn't put in pigtails.
You didn't think of it.
Ponytail, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think it'd be the same, right, with a guy? Like a man bun?
No,
Definitely
if
not.
A guy
please.
with pigtails.
Yeah.
I was the coat check. That was the only job I had that was tips.
Did you ever put your hair in pigtails to get it?
No,
Could you put your hair in pigtails now?
Yeah, I could put
Oh,
my hair in
okay,
pigtails. Yeah. No, I just got they were there for a nice dinner, nice wine, and the majority of them would be a little tipsy when they were coming to get their coats, and so just toss the bills.
I have seen Marissa wear pigtails on a couple of occasions. It's really cute, I think. But I've never seen you
No,
do
I
it
would
before,
never.
Kathy. Why not?
It's just not me.
you.
It's not me. I would could you really see me as cutesy? Come on.
No.
But I would like
can you
to
hold your hair out though? Just
I need to see that sometime, what that would look like. So, dude, it would be super cute.
Yeah. You know what? I also don't really have the hair for pigtails.
You need
either.
long enough?
Just like a little more volume. For
Right. No.
pigtails. Yeah.
Like Jason Momoa.
My pigtails came after I got these Joseph Anthony extensions.
That's what
you
you
have
were.
more hair, you can do it.
Okay.
Cute flat brim hat, perfect summer hair do.
Chewing bubble gum.
But listen, whatever. Anything, I would imagine that if you work for, and tips are a part of the equation, that, do whatever you got to
All
do.
bets are off,
To try and get, and listen, if there's anybody listening, 215-263-WMMR that you would like to share your tip for getting tips. But I would imagine, like cleavage would be a part of that too, don't you think?
Sometimes when I'm dancing for a guy in the champagne room, I'll put my knee on his nutsack.
Ooh.
And I get tips.
On it?
Yeah.
Like skin to skin?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but pigtails is a way to be like cutesy and maybe get an extra tip and not have to like throw your boobs out there for it. You know what I mean? Like that's a little more obvious.
Yeah. Yep, I know what you're saying. Absolutely.
I would imagine, yes, anything. If you're going to work the system and you're there and everything's predicated on that. Yeah, you would do that. I can't think of an equivalent that a guy would do though. I mean,
No, this is mainly for women. Getting men to tip more.
What about men getting men to tip?
Men getting men to tip more? I don't know.
Look at hairs and pigtails.
I guess you could. I don't know. Honestly, it would be more banter, like talking sports,
Sure.
and getting into their world, or you know what I mean.
Right.
I mean, listen, if you're a savvy person that works for tips, you try to get some ideas of what that person is you're serving, what their personality is like, and catering to that, and saying some things that might connect you to them, and therefore they may want to, help out and tip.
Right.
But I've never been listen, pizza delivery person, there's only so much you can do. You show up, you give them your pizza, and they make a split-second decision on whether they're going to tip you at that point. So I never really had to work it. Whereas at a table, if you're working tables or you're a bartender or something like that, you're spending a little bit more time with people.
There's no way to pad when you're dropping off a pizza.
No. And
excuse
also,
me, sir, your eyes are piercing.
When you're waiting, like there is it's so funny to hear this from me, the guy who doesn't know when to shut up. But there is a fine line between being engaging and
overly chatty.
It's like because they're not there to hang out with you.
Yeah, sometimes I've seen that happen. I've seen people start to blow their tips just by overworking the table.
Yep. Let me go to Deb. Hey, Deb. Good morning.
Hi. Good morning.
Hey, what's up, Deb?
So many years ago, I used to bartend at Chi-Chi's in Cherry Hill. It was right around the time that the movie Cocktail came out.
Right.
Okay.
And I used to do crazy like blender tender things, like by putting straws in the blender and pouring it in the glass. And I also got into doing like little mini magic tricks
That's
at
cool.
the bar.
That's smart.
Yeah, it was so much fun. Like little coin tricks and like tricks getting things into glasses and that sort of thing. But I used to love it, and it really helped out. I got a big following from that.
So what would you say percentage-wise? How much did your tips increase when you started doing magic tricks?
Probably like 50%.
Wow.
All right.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I mean, I would do it to people that were kind of just there by themselves, just like kind of barfly type of people.
Right.
And, so they would come back to the bar regularly and had a great rapport that way. It was a blast. That was a great job during college. It was really wonderful.
Let me ask you, Deb, did you get hit on a fair amount as a female bartender?
Yeah, back in the day when I was single, for sure. But
Yeah. No, it's just, I think that's probably one of the, it's something you got to put up with, right?
yes, yeah, it was very. But I flirted back too. I mean, you kind of had. I mean, I just was be very friendly and smiling. And
Right. Well, it's a means to an end.
Yeah.
You said, Preston,
exactly.
when you
Thanks,
delivered
Deb.
pizzas, you would flirt with the people, right? A little bit?
Of course, a little bit to try and get something going on, but I
Want to go for a walk?
Yeah, didn't work. It didn't work. I'm going to go to Lindsay. Hi, Lindsay. Good morning.
Good morning, guys.
Good morning, It. What's up?
So my sister is a server down in Disney World. Disney World, family friendly, and she did the pigtails experiment at her job.
And
so she's a waitress at Disney World. She serves in Magic Kingdom and at one of the resorts, and she did pigtails, and she tried to see if she got more tips. She ended up getting more tips because of the pigtails. Now in Disney World.
So, any guess percentage-wise how much it increased?
She didn't tell me how much, but she did show me some of the cash that she got in a Snapchat of that night.
Wow.
I mean, in Disney World, she does get pretty good tips just because everybody is on vacation.
Right.
Also the prices, but she also has fun pens that have Mickey heads on it. The other thing is, and it's very strange, she's done this as well. She's engaged, but she doesn't wear her engagement ring while she's on shift.
Yeah. Listen, that makes sense. You're looking to pad it a little bit. You're working, and that's. I mean, if you're comfortable with that, why not?
She's been down there for about 7 years, and I don't foresee her ever coming back. I'm fine with it. That's it's my in at Disney.
Yeah, totally. Yeah,
that's pretty wild.
Thanks, Lindsay. Appreciate it. There's some
50%.
A lot of people do the opposite with the engagement ring thing, and they wear a fake one so that people will keep from bothering them, from hitting on them.
Yeah. That's another thing. Do you know anybody ever used to do that?
Tip oriented. That's more leave me alone. Don't bother me.
I knew a female bartender who had a whole bunch of fake wedding rings. Yeah. And would wear those.
Yep, I believe it. Absolutely. Let me go to Laura. Hey, Laura, good morning.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
Good. What's up, Laura?
All right. So without fail, I was not into the objectifying hairstyle, but if you add a smiley face, just a smiley face, you'll make 20% extra without fail. Now, the other thing I would do is if I knew it was after church, I would always say, God bless you. I'm Jewish.
That's a great idea. Now, that's thinking about it. So you got the church crowd coming in, and you hit them with a God bless you, and
always.
Boom.
And it always works.
Wow.
That's smart. That's a smart thing, and you're not being duplicitous. It's a little thing.
And the smiley face
that's coming from the heart, right?
Yeah.
The smiley face though, for that works for me. I like that.
I love it.
Oh, they're friendly.
I do too.
Yeah, as long as I said thank you, and put a smiley face. Like if you just wrote thank you, they don't see it. But something about the smiley face and always right by the total. I'm telling you. And it was like a game between me and my coworkers. Like, all right, I bet you. Go ahead, do that with that table. I bet you. And sure enough, they'd be like, oh my God, it worked.
Yes, I think it's just a pleasant thing to do. When I see, listen, I did pretty well to begin with, but I think that's a nice little flourish. The thing is, it has to be on at that part of the transaction before they're paying. Mm-hmm. Obviously afterwards, it won't make any difference when you return with with like a credit card or whatever. I love that idea. They're just simply a smiley face or God bless if it's after church.
What if you're like a police officer and at the bottom of the ticket you added a little smiley face right there?
Yeah, I think that'd be great. Yeah, especially if you're doing a lethal injection at a prison.
Right.
Yeah. And you do a little nose boop.
It's those little things.
Boop.
That's terrible.
I was really not looking forward to being dead, but that was fun. I like that.
All right.
You can put me out.
Let me go to Andrew. Hi, Andrew. Good morning.
Chicken pot pie.
All right, Andrew. Thanks for singing to us. What's up, man?
Hey, so first off, I actually served you and your family back at Melting Pot way back in the day.
Wow. Which one did you work at?
The Warrington one.
Sure.
I still remember that Rochelle has a sensitivity to cilantro.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Good memory.
Yeah, I think this man owes a tip, Preston.
Hopefully we tipped him well that night.
Oh, it was great. Anyway, so I bartend, and my biggest tip is I put on the fakest personality that I can ever put on. Whenever I go to greet somebody, I just turn it on, and I get complimented for it all the time because I'll go over and say, hi there, everyone. How are we doing today? And just be so excited that they're there. And then as soon as I walk away, just go back to oh my God, what a miserable day.
Normal Andrew.
Whenever I'm at a table, I'm the happiest person that I could be.
Andrew, I would say there's sort of an unspoken understanding between customer and server that okay, even if you're putting this on, I'm enjoying this because having someone who is a sourpuss and just frowning and down it sucks. So if you're going to go the extra mile to sell it, even if you don't feel it, that's still cool. They're not demanding authenticity, but they just enjoy that you're kind of working it a bit, correct?
Absolutely. If I can make them enjoy their 30 minutes with me by putting on a super fake ass and a big smile just to get, over a 20% tip, then great by me. And I hope you had a great time.
WMMR.
All right, thank you very much, Marissa. We were just having an off-air conversation. I know someone who recently had to go through the process of changing all their locks in their house. And Steve had said something. He was like, do you think does that happen often? Are there, and what are the reasons behind some? And I'm not going to get into the details of why this person changed all of the locks in their home. But I wanted to open that up and see if anybody who ever had to do that. And, barring any horrific, terrible story, feel free to tell us 610-660-9333. You can either call or text, but I'm curious about that and what all you have to go through to get that done. It's got to be expensive, too.
Right. Like, obviously, as you're talking about shy of like someone's trying to kill you or domestic abuse or something like that, obviously, people do that. But I was wondering, Preston, also, to that point, if you're getting the locks changed in a house and a locksmith shows up, and I don't even know the answer, do you have to prove you are, like, if you're already in the house?
Well, so there's a scene in Breaking Bad where Walt and Skyler aren't living together anymore, but Skyler's trying to get into his house, and the locksmith wouldn't let her in, and she was there with the baby, and because she couldn't prove that she had.
What about if you're already inside the house and you call a locksmith because you ostensibly could have broken into the house?
I had to call a locksmith one time. I was living in an apartment, and it was on the weekend, so there was no one in the office that could get me in, and I had to get back into my apartment. So I called a locksmith. Fortunately, there was a quote-unquote guard that was at the front desk. This guy didn't do anything.
Would be asleep?
Oh, my God. It was just a waste of space. So he confirmed that I lived there at least. But I remember when the locksmith showed up and he walks up to the door, and when I tell you it took less than 10 seconds.
Yeah.
And then it was, $100, please.
Yeah.
I was like, you've got to be kidding me.
Listen, it is a wonderful, and it is obviously there's especially now with technical stuff, you got to know your stuff.
Yeah.
But if you know how to do it, Preston, I had one case where it was a back door, basically that amount of time of 2 minutes, $120.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had, it was probably 7-8 years ago. I'd seen, I don't know, an ad somewhere for lock picking kit to teach you how to do it. And I was looking for something to ask for Christmas. I'm like, that'd be kind of fun. Why don't I get that?
Yeah.
Got it. Never used it. Never have. Well, I started to read a little bit, and there are several different types of locks, and there are several different ways you have to go about. And they, you get the picks, and you get a little sample lock, and a couple different kinds of sample locks to have you practice on. But I just never took the time to do it. It was about the time that I wanted to get the bottle glass cutter.
Yes.
Too, so I could make candles out of my old booze bottles. I never did anything with that either. Not one time. Yeah.
There is a device that is illegal. It's my understanding. This could all be BS. I just heard someone else say this, and I'm just taking it as fact. But I've seen them advertised in the back of shadier magazine. There used to be a magazine called Argosy, which was like a kind of like an Esquire, low rent Esquire, and it was basically, Preston, a piece of metal that was cut into separate parallel long sticks, for lack of a better term, and you could stick the device into any key hole, and it would, fit into all the slots properly. But I not every key is exactly this. Not every keyhole, not every lock is exactly the same.
No.
So you would have to have a specific. It was a fairly common lock, but they swore up and down that this was something that would easily open a
skeleton key of sorts.
Something like that.
Yeah, no, there are different types of locks that have completely different mechanisms.
I know, because one of the banes of our existence over the years, it becomes less and less so as you have digital locks and stuff like that, are the keys that you have in your drawer, and like Christ, what is this for?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What does this open?
Yeah. I don't even know if the old Jimmys work.
Jimmy's.
On car doors or not, but
Jimmy. Well, let me ask that question.
Yeah.
What if can you change the locks? I assume you can. Who would change the locks on a car?
I don't even know if you can do that. I mean,
Can you do that?
That's a good question. I mean, well, you don't
can reprogram a
Yeah, you can
fob.
have that redone, and I assume that's got to be a big process. By the way, some text coming in. Let me pass this along. This one said, I had fears my ex-wife would come and take my kids as there wasn't a custody agreement in place yet. Another one says, I changed all the locks when my ex-wife kept breaking into my house. So, yeah, those are
What does that run, do you think, to change it? If we're talking like you spend 100, I spend 120 on one lock.
Yeah.
If you're doing all the locks in a house.
I don't know. There's another one that says, my brother was addicted to drugs, and we went away on a vacation and came back, and all the electronics in our house were stolen.
Jeez.
So we had to change our locks.
So you.
By the way, it says you don't need a locksmith. You just get new doorknobs with new keys. Yeah, so you can just replace those. If you're replacing all your locks, you don't have to get a locksmith to do it. You can just go to Home Depot or Lowe's or whatever.
I guess, yeah.
And Steve, to answer your question, it's about $80 to $300 per door per lock. So depending on how many doors you have in your house, that's how much it's going to cost you.
So one time when I was in one of my maybe third apartment I ever lived in, this absentee landlord had her boyfriend move in upstairs, and this guy was a moron, and he was forgetting to pay everything, and it was a nightmare. So I couldn't nail him down to say, are you paying the water bill? Are you doing this? They kept coming around to my apartment. I had a basement apartment, and I had to deal with this. So one night, Preston, this is illegal. It is a crime. But I went into his house, his part of the house upstairs, and I reversed all the locks facing me.
Oh, that's funny.
So I would have to get him. You know, he couldn't escape. And then I got him, and he paid the bills and so on and so forth. But I reversed every goddamn lock in that house.
How many doors you guys have?
2 to
enter your home.
Just 2.
Okay.
Yeah, front door and back door.
Yeah, we have 3.
We have 3.
Okay. That wouldn't be crazy expensive.
No. I was just wondering that the notion of changing.
We did it when we moved. When we moved in, and not because we were afraid of the previous owners or whatever, but we just figured, sometimes when you move into a new place, the previous owners have lent out keys to other family members or
you don't know
cleaning people or whatever.
Somebody's living in your attic.
Yeah. But anyway, so when we moved in, we just did all of the locks in the house.
So we have 2 doors that have locks that are built into the door, not into the doorknob as well. So that in other words, Preston, there is the door knob that has a lock in it, but into the door above is a handle you turn around, and that puts a lock in like a deadbolt.
Yeah, okay, but that's on your door, right? And then it bolts to the frame.
Right, yeah.
All right, hang on. Let me go to, oh my goodness.
What?
Cracker Carl.
Cracker Carl
is on the line. We have not heard from him in a little while. Boxes of cookies and crackers and all this stuff. Hang on.
We got this one.
Boxes of crackers. Box of crackers and a box of candy bar.
Hey, Carl, are you there?
Absolutely.
Hey, Carl, what's going on, man?
Well, my family owns a home in Slower, Delaware.
Slower, lower. All right.
And when one of the family members went down, they found all kinds of trash and stuff like that in the house. That and nobody had been down there. None of the 3 owners in Pennsylvania had been down there. So
you're saying someone was living down there they were unaware that someone was living down in their basement?
we don't have a basement. There's no. If you dig 3 feet, you hit water.
Gotcha. No basement.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but anyway, I told my family that we have to change all the locks on the house because we suspect my brother-in-law, who lives in Florida, and when he travels to Pennsylvania to see his mother, he stops in Delaware, and he does not own the house.
And he's just making a mess all over the place, too.
So we changed. I went to Baldwin Hardware in Reading, Pennsylvania, that makes the best locks, and the ones that you buy, the Baldwin locks that you buy at Home Depot or Lowe's, they're different than the locks that are made at Baldwin Hardware in Reading.
Okay, so you're saying the quality is better if you go directly to Baldwin than if you go through a retailer?
No. The keys are different.
Ah.
These are the Baldwin locks that are made in Reading that you buy from Baldwin Hardware factory stores. They have different keys than the locks that you buy at Lowe's or Home Depot, which are Baldwin locks. They're very good locks, but the keys are different.
So, Carl, are those the locks you installed in your home to foil your brother-in-law or your brother?
Well, whoever was trying to come into the house, we replaced all the locks with Baldwin locks.
Mm-hmm.
And
but the Baldwin keys are different.
Locks at my home.
Okay.
Because when I built my house 45 years ago, we had little quick set locks everywhere, and
Carl?
The Baldwin folks said quick set is one of the easiest locks in the country to get through.
I've heard
Amazing,
that. I've heard that people who are in the know, and I don't know many who are in the know, but Quickset is an easier lock to break. But you're saying Baldwin's the way to go 24/7. That's your ride or die, Baldwin.
I would not buy another lock for a door in my house or anybody else's house other than a Baldwin lock made in Reading, but buy it from the factory store.
Okay.
Carl, do you have any booby traps set up in your home?
Oh, no. I have 2 dogs.
2 dogs, that'll do it. I was just curious. I thought maybe you'd have like a
rolling boulder
or a shotgun shell or something. At the,
No.
You impress us as a guy who's very resourceful, who might set up a
bear trap or something on the floor.
something to catch someone coming into the house.
I live on over 3 acres, and I have dogs that have very sensitive hearing, and we wake up all hours of the morning to dogs barking at deer 100 yards away from the house.
Well, you're protected. All right, Carl, we got to wrap up this conversation, but thank you for the info on the Baldwin locks, dude.
Hey, it's the best there is.
All right.
All right.
Stamp of approval from Cracker Carl.
Good
Thank you, Carl.
see you.
Take care, bud. We'll see you.
What I would wonder, though, so Carl would talk about the woman across the street who had the boxes of crackers in it, but
candy bars.
There's a whole repository of that stuff across the street. What's protecting the crackers?
That's what we need to know.
The boxes of crackers.
Yes.
I'm really glad Carl called in.
I am as well. He got mad at you, though.
I was
didn't
afraid
Brett?
he was going to stay mad at us for a long time. And
well, he got mad at me because he had sent me his recipe for his family's sauerkraut.
Oh, I need that.
And I said, ha, 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 great. Something along those lines. And he thought that I was.
You impugned his sauerkraut.
That I was talking smack on his sauerkraut.
You son of a bitch.
And he kind of snapped back at me. I was like, hang on, man. No, I think we have a miscommunication.
Well,
I'm not making fun of your sauerkraut.
I might as well let you know that you're kind of known around here as someone who takes sauerkraut very cavalier.
Very cavalier. All right. Let's go to another Carl. All right. I've got Carl R. joining us now. Hey, Carl, you're on the air. Good morning. Morning, bud.
Hey, 2 Carls don't make it right.
That's right.
That's so true, Carl.
No, mine's a little different. So I had a buddy that they had spent the night at our apartment when I lived in Philly, him and his girlfriend, and my girlfriend and I actually took off for the shore early, and they were sleeping in for obvious reasons anyway. He left his wallet in my locked apartment, and bright guy, he figured out how to jimmy my lock with his credit card. So
Jimmy!
Anytime he came over after that, he wouldn't knock. He would knock the door with his credit card.
Oh, shut up.
Well, listen, there are locks, particular locks. I remember at the college I went to, and you could, and they, I don't know how you would describe it, but it's sort of the lock, the post that goes into the door, whatever you call that, the tumbler, or the bolt, had a curved aspect to it, and so with the credit card, you could get it in and then push it in.
There were some doors we used to be able to use a butter knife. We could get it open or credit card.
Easily.
Yeah, you could slip it in there. I mean, those were usually interior doors, like into a bedroom or something like that.
Anytime he was coming over, he didn't like call me or anything.
He just broke in. Card. I like it.
I wonder how easy it is.
Thanks, Carl.
How easy do you? So you had this kit to sort of. It's a lot more difficult than we might think, correct? For an external door.
First, you have to identify what it is, and then figure out because there are pins, there are posts, and things like that. I don't think it's that hard once you know how to do it.
Okay.
You just have to identify what it is, and then that will tell you whatever tool, whatever kind of pick you need to use in order to get in there.
Do you remember the game Splinter Cell?
The video game, yeah.
Yeah, the video game. You would have to pick locks constantly. And it was actually a lot of fun. But I'm sure less fun than if you're actually trying to do it.
What about like bedroom doors? You got to get, like, normally they do have a kind of a key for it, but if you don't have a key, you just use like a bobby pin.
Yeah, you can do stuff like that. There was a guy, so a buddy of mine went to college, went to the University of Missouri, or went to Missouri State University, anyhow. And he was, as was per these two people, his buddy, who also I went to school with, rather than actually do their work for school, they were going to break into the teacher's office and steal the test. I mean, it was right out of Animal House. Right out of Animal House. And my buddy Jeff is telling me that the guy's name was Brent. Brent knew how to pick locks, and he had a set of picks and everything.
The whole thing.
And they break it. They go into the building, and they're standing there. And they walk up to the lock of the door, the teacher's door, and Brent turns to Jeff and he goes, "Man, it's a J46-7. I don't know, man. This is going to be a little bit tough. It's going to take a couple minutes." And so he lights up a cigarette. He gets down on his knees, and he's picking away, and he's got the cigarette hanging out of his mouth.
It's out of a movie.
He's like, it's going to take about 45 seconds, so you got to hang on for a bit. And did the routine, broke in, stole the test.
Wow.
Did the whole, I swear to God. Wow. It is just, and I guess, I don't know where he got the picks and tools and all that stuff, but it's like right out of his playbook.
Well, that used to be the thing. You would buy the kits that the locksmiths purchased, but it couldn't be that easy, could it be?
I think it is that easy. I'll bring it in sometime. I'll show it to you guys, the setup that I have. We're going to go to Nancy next. Hey, Nancy, good morning.
Hi.
Hey, what's up, Nancy?
All right. I'm the worst storyteller, but this is a funny story. We were on a family vacation, a whole group of us, in Florence, Italy. And my nephew he was like 18 years old, but he could drink. So he got really drunk one night, and he comes back to the apartment complex, and he jams his key and breaks it in the lock of the apartment complex. It's like 2 o'clock in the morning. He has to spend the entire night sitting on the step in case anyone comes home so they can get in, because he can't. If he closes the door, it locks. So the next morning, when somebody comes down for coffee, they see him sit. We see him and we're like, "What's going on?" He's like, "Oh my God!" And he's all upset. So we contact the Airbnb people. They send a locksmith over. The locksmith look at the lock and say it has to be replaced. It can't be fixed. And my brother-in-law, who's a contractor and does key locks, It's like, no, it can be redone. So on the street in Florence, he pulls apart the lock, like all those pins, and they're all laying on the steps of this apartment complex. People are gathering around because they don't know what's going on. And he rekeys the entire, he rekeys the thing. The keys work perfect. The locksmiths are just like, perfecto, like they're shocked. And the idea is we would have had to pay for every person in that apartment to get keys because it was the main building. And
you would have had to cover the cost of the keys for everyone in the apartment because that was the main point of entrance.
Yes, it wasn't like just our apartment where we contacted.
Oh, man.
But,
that would have sucked.
It was insane, like literally, like, because it took him like half an hour to do it because he hadn't done it in a while. And I don't know, it was a very, very old lock,
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, man, that's wild. I didn't even think of that.
But it was my poor nephew who was like feeling so horrible. And of course, people are still trying to get in and out of the building as he's doing this. So
yeah.
It was quite the scene in Florence. No one forgot us.
That's wild. All right. Thanks. Appreciate it, Nance. There was another story I have, and it's similar to stealing the test.
Yeah.
This was in my junior year in high school, and our history class, I think it was history or social studies. Anyway, the classroom actually had a door that went outside. So it had a door that went to directly out to the back of the school.
Cool.
It always stayed closed. It always stayed locked. It was never open.
Was there an alarm on it?
I don't know. I don't think so. And one of the students, a guy who I knew, and we knew where the teacher kept the test. He kept it in a cabinet that was in the classroom, and that had a padlock on it.
Yeah.
So what this guy did was, when the teacher had stepped out for whatever reason, he went over to the door, opened it up. He opened up the it had deadbolt, and then it didn't have a deadbolt. It just had a regular lock. Anyhow, he took duct tape or something like that, and he taped the bolt that normally goes in, and he taped it shut. So it set flush. Closed that up. Came back that night, goes in, brought in screwdrivers with him, takes the hinges off of the cabinet.
Whoa! He could have just studied for the test.
And got the test out. It was a final. Got the test out, did the whole thing, and then put it all back in, put the hinges back on.
Wow,
dude, you're talking the days of now that it's stored in a computer.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's no getting it unless you can crack a code that way.
Yeah.
But it was old school.
That's elaborate stuff.
I know. Yep. All right. Let me go to, we have Matt joining us next. Matt, good morning.
Good morning, Ed.
Good morning to see you. What's up, bud?
Not too much. So I was up in Brooklyn last summer for a concert I was seeing with my cousin, and I was spending the night at my brother's house. He's got an apartment there. So we went to the concert, headed back to his house to have a couple of beers, decided we were going to get something to eat. So we're going to order pizza. As we're walking in, my brother was leading the way. I was behind him, my cousin behind me. He shut the door, locked the deadbolt, like you would expect you do at an apartment in Brooklyn.
Right.
We go upstairs, order the pizza. Delivery guy gets there. I said, I'll run down and grab it. So I run down, and the deadbolt is not opening. And I'm a fairly strong guy, putting everything I have into it. Said, hold on one second, run upstairs. I said to my brother, hey, is there like an issue with your deadbolt, like something I need to do? And he said, we never locked the deadbolt. And I was like, well, Mary locked it, and I'm not able to get it open. So he comes downstairs with a toolkit, and I've probably replaced 24 locks in my life, but I had no success getting it open. So one of us had to go downstairs through the basement crawl space, get the pizza, and said, we'll figure this out later. So we have a couple beers, eat the pizza. I'm ready to go to sleep. My brother's wife is flipping out. We can't all be locked in this apartment. So they called a locksmith. This is probably 1 a.m. now. The guy shows up, probably takes 20 minutes to replace the thing or get it open at least. I think he just removed the whole lock. It was $1,000 bill.
$1,000?
And,
dude.
Well, here's the kicker. The guy said, it's customary to tip about 15% on this too. My brother's looking at him. He said, yeah, sorry, that's not happening.
Yeah, $150? No.
So he ended up giving the bill to the landlord, who they did repay him for it. But
wow,
I was
$1,000.
$1,000.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
All right.
Without a
Thanks,
doubt,
Matt.
man.
Appreciate it. Somebody had texted in and said that the keys that you use at, it says here, the touch keys is from Mike, that we get from hotels always make me nervous. They have to be easy to copy. I've never heard people doing that.
Yes, I have heard of people doing that. I have also had the experience, Preston, where I've had the key to a hotel room. I put it in my pocket. My phone is in the pocket, and somehow it Fs up the coding on the card, and I can't get back into the room.
Okay. I don't know if it's easy to just take that card and get that information off of it.
I've heard of people who have actually stolen the machines that print the cards,
right?
Because they throw them out.
Right. Let me go to Keith next. Hi, Keith. Good morning.
Morning. What's going on?
Well, yo, bud, want to hear your story. What's up, man?
Yeah, so I was just going to share. We've actually ended up installing a smart lock in our house. And with that, we've got an app that we can go through and we can get in. So we can add, a dog walker, house sitter, temporarily as well. But it's funny because as either my kids or wife or even myself at times are trying to get in, the app will crash and you're sitting there stuck for a minute or two trying to figure out if you're going to go in.
Yeah.
Fortunately, ours has a hard key backup, which is nice.
You just said that is the most important. So we have a couple of the touch locks, so we can do the remote, open the door and close it for people coming to the house. Same sort of situation, Keith. But I always demand that you have the port for a physical key as well, just in case everything goes south.
It freaks me out not having that. I saw a few of them, and I was just I couldn't fathom if I couldn't get it back into the house.
Yeah, absolutely. It's with Teslas, I mean, you know what? I don't have a key lock in my car.
You might. I mean, if you have your car keys on you,
sometimes,
there's this thing that you can take out. So this is for my Subaru, right? So it's just a key fob, but there's a little button here that you push.
Yeah, so they call it the valet key, right?
Yeah, valet key. So if I can just get my stupid fat fingers on, there we go. And then the little valet key comes out.
Yeah, I think I've got one on this.
So, but this is really for, this is,
yeah,
this is to lock your glove box, I think.
Right. Can you gain access to the car?
That's a good question.
The valet, I think that's the intent of the valet key, isn't it? So that you can't get access to the car.
But there's also, yeah. You're right there.
I got a cramp.
Cramp in your head.
I got a cramp in my hand trying to case. I dropped my keys. I'm like, ow.
Local broadcasting legend Preston Elliott died today while doing a key demonstration.
I can't get the damn thing back in now.
You have to line it up the right way.
Hey, I'm working on it. All right, anyway, go ahead, Case.
You may do it for you?
No, I got it.
I know.
I got it.
I was just wondering,
I got it.
What do you do? Is there a key?
Well, that depends
element to. I use my car every day. I become such a fob snob.
Yeah, I'm a fob snob too.
Yeah,
but I do think, Steve, that if there is a keyhole in the door,
yes,
that little quote unquote valet
might
key
work it. In case I don't know if I've seen it or if I actually use the door every time I want to get into the car, and yet I can't remember if there is an actual keyhole.
There's got to be something.
Something.
All right. Well, anyway, thank you for the calls. Thank you for the text. We were just curious. We recently somebody that we know had to change all the locks on their doors, and we were just curious about
how often,
how much would that cost, and is that difficult? And then it led to the rest of the conversation. All right, we do need to take a quick break. We'll come back in a moment. Our friend Victor Fiorillo from Philadelphia Magazine will be here. There's an event coming up this weekend that actually I'm going to be a part of, and he will tell you about it. And it's historically significant in Philadelphia. We'll be back in a moment, so hang out. We'll be right back.
So what's your degree of success with this?
Averaging over 20% tip for putting on a big smile in front of everybody.
That's worth it.
And it makes it worth it. Yeah.
So worth it.
Thanks, Andrew. You still at Melting Pot?
No, they closed. No. I'm at a bar in North Wales now.
All right. Well, enjoy, sir.
Are there any melting pots?
Yeah, there definitely are.
There used to be one in Chestnut Hill that they closed, and
there's one in King of Prussia. We went there not that long ago.
All right.
Actually. Here's a text says, as a male server, you got to sweet talk the old ladies to get at least a 10% tip.
Oh my God, that's a classic. My wife worked in a place that was kind of the family place to go on Thanksgiving and Christmas and the family dinners and so on and so forth. And Preston, what would happen is they'd hand the bill over to grandpa or grandma, and they'd pull out. Remember those old tip calculators? So you just knew that you were going to get nothing.
By the way, here's another text says, whenever my coworker wears stockings, older men heavily tip her, and we do not work off at tips at all. We work there an ophthalmologist.
No. Are you kidding? You're tipping there? Wow.
And then she goes on to say, also, I wear a fake wedding ring because it makes men flirt more and increases my sales. So
it works the other way.
It makes them flirt more. Interesting. By the way, so yeah, as far as tips go, like right now, the you've done a good job tip is 20%, right?
Yeah.
And that was 15% a few years ago. Do you guys see it being notched up to 25?
I think cost of living, right?
What's that?
With the cost of everything going up, right? A lot of people are tipping more generously.
No, I don't think so because the prices are going up, right?
Yeah.
So I used to get the sandwich in down the shore in the beginning of the summer. That sandwich was $17. Now it's $19. So, I don't have to tip anymore because I don't have to tip any more percentage-wise because the price is already going up. So 20% is where it stays.
Okay. I'm just curious as to if you guys foresee it like notching up in a few years.
I mean, it is when you get the bill, like places that calculate it for you, 25 is an option on there.
Oh yeah, I know that.
Oh.
But I'm saying the accepted
standard
accepted. Like if you tip less than 20%, it's considered okay. You didn't do that good of a job.
Right. Okay.
We've all been guilted into 20%, by the way.
I know.
It used to be 15%.
Totally. That's what I was saying. It used to be 15%.
But I was a server, and if I didn't get 20%, I was like, oh man.
I was a server at a restaurant in the mall and King of Prussia Mall, and it was a place that used to be called
Rock Bottom.
Brew Moon, and then that became Rock Bottom. Yeah, so when I worked there, Casey, it was Brew Moon, and it was a great restaurant. I really liked working there. And then Rock Bottom was a good restaurant as well. But people generally tipped less because they'd been shopping in the mall. And so it was not a great place to be a server because people would come in and they would have spent a lot of money while shopping, and then they felt like they were going to cheap out a little bit at the meal.
That sucks.
Yeah, it did suck. Yeah.
So location, obviously.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
The only other time I was a server was this place called Murphy's Old Irish Pub, which is still in Alexandria. It's on King Street, and that was a great job. And Steve, we would have regulars there almost daily, and people would come in for lunch, and then Friday and Saturday nights people would come in, and you get to know the customers, and once you get to know them and there's a rapport, you usually get tipped pretty well as a result.
You also appreciate a customer understands that means everything. The tip means a lot.
Yeah, and
so.
you knew which guys wanted coffee as soon as they got there, and when you get to know your regulars, it's a cool experience.
Nah, love it.
Let me go to Mike next. Hey, Mike. Good morning.
I have 3 testicles.
Pretty close to sounding like Gary there.
Wrong.
Nice, Mike. All right, what's up, bud?
I was working at a pizza shop years ago, and a guy would bring his daughter in, and he would dress up as Santa Claus, and she would dress up as an
elf.
As an elf.
Yeah,
that's so
smart.
I took my daughter and did the same thing, and we made bank.
That's a good idea.
Delivering pizza around the holidays dressed as Santa Claus. Man, that's a smart move.
That's a great idea.
Santa, getting a present from Santa.
Yeah.
Huh.
Ooh, solid. All right.
Owing to your impression, dressed like Gary Lauer.
Well, then could you do it for other holidays? For, around Easter, the Easter Bunny, or around
Halloween?
Veterans Day, dress as a veteran?
Or
no, that'd be wrong.
Probably not do that. That's
false
stolen
valor.
Yeah. Or you could do, but for the 4th of July, you could be like Uncle Sam or something like that.
Sure.
I do have a cousin that used to deliver at the same pizza shop I have, and he used to wear these crazy hats. He was a DJ.
Love it.
A party DJ.
Okay.
And he would wear these crazy hats, and he would make ridiculous amounts.
Good idea.
For Hanukkah, you could dress as Jackie Mason, Preston.
Something that kind of stands out. I like that. All right, thanks, Mike.
By the way, we did a welfare check on Gary Lauer, and we never heard from him.
We never heard back.
Yeah.
You're right. We did that the other day. So, Gary Lauer, if you're listening, we just want to find out if you're okay.
Doesn't sound it.
Call us and let us know.
I had 3 testicles.
I'm going to go. Here's another interesting one. A good idea if you deliver. I'm going to go to Steve. Hi, Steve. Good morning.
Good morning. You bitches keep bothering me at work.
Well, that's what bitches do. What's up, man?
Yeah. So I deliver in Lansdale. And one is they usually give about 45 minutes to an hour to deliver, as you guys know. If I'm coming close to that, I will call the customer and let them know that I'm on my way. That's one thing that, does work. Another thing I would do is I would wear Philly shirts and Eagle shirts. That also helps.
Oh, that's nice. So support the
wearing sports shirts.
Teams,
Yeah, okay.
Right, especially during the games and Sundays. I mean, I'll bank like $200 during games and Sundays.
Now, if you pull up and there's like a Pittsburgh flag in the window, do you?
Do you keep a bunch of jerseys in your car?
Go Steelers!
That's a good idea too, man. If you see some indicators, a license plate frame, or
bench day, yeah.
You switch real quick. That's pretty smart, and it would be worth the investment.
Absolutely.
All right, thanks, Steve.
There's a great Ben Stiller from the Ben Stiller show. There was they had a study of this guy. It's supposed to be a documentary, and he sells life insurance. This was the whole premise to people who are deadheads on tour following the dead.
All right.
And so he's dressed up. He goes, man, you got to understand, it's all going to come down at some point. And then you see him going back to his car and across the street is a concert for The Cure, and he's putting on the lipstick and he's doing the whole thing and walking across. It was great.
I love that. I wonder if I would. I kind of enjoyed being a pizza delivery guy.
You want to do it again?
I wonder if how enjoyable that would be.
We should deliver pizza to people for one night. Make that. Yeah,
we should
all of
deliver
us in a van.
Lorenzo's. We could get a semi-tractor trailer and load up with Lorenzo's and take those around.
One pizza.
Yeah.
What was the name of the pizza place that you worked at?
Emos.
You worked.
Oh, you were at Emos, dude.
I didn't know you worked
did.
Emos.
Absolutely.
Do you remember the address?
No, but
Okay.
I know it was on Olive Boulevard. I could tell you exactly where it was.
Did you point Casey in the direction?
I could point Casey in that direction.
Because Casey
I had an
will be in
apartment
your home area. That's part of the deal.
Yep.
Is it IMO or EMO?
IMO. But there's tons of locations all over the place. So.
Conveniently located?
To me, I had an apartment right across the street from there. But it was I wasn't living in the apartment at the
There's
time.
only one on Olive Boulevard.
Really?
In University City?
No.
No, that's not it.
No.
Those guys are losers.
Anyway, that's a completely different part of town.
Those are almost.
You got to look in Chesterfield.
Chesterfield.
That's emus, EMU.
Hang on a second. I want to go to Chris. Hi, Chris. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, bitches.
What's up, bitch?
I don't have much of a voice left from the Shinedown concert last night.
Oh. Glad you had a good time.
Oh, they're amazing. All of them are awesome.
Nice.
But I was pregnant with all of my kids when I waitressed. And
all
the
at
minute
once?
Well, all at once, all three at once. No, 3 different times.
Okay. So you got more tips when you were pregnant?
I got more tips when I was pregnant. You would start to even arch your back, do a little waddle, like when you're bringing things out.
Playing on the sympathy.
Exactly. You work it. You carry pictures of your babies inside your little folder that you're going to write down their menu, what their order was.
Right.
A quick
Definitely.
question. When you were done having children, did you ever one evening consider stuffing a pillow under your...
Well, after all the kids, I actually didn't go back to waitressing, but I don't think I would be above that.
No,
Actually,
if it works.
now I think about that. Thank you, Chris, by the way. If you're a place that doesn't have like regulars all the time, you could put on like a fake cast or some kind of little fake injury.
Well, what's the thing that we've heard that they'll do? It's my it's okay. I'm working on my birthday, but it's still okay. They'll mention that it's their birthday.
Yes.
Right? Isn't that a thing? Is that a go-to?
You could easily do that. Yeah,
Right.
Absolutely. All right, Casey, I got a call on line 1 here. And
good.
yep, I don't know what kind of setup we need for this, but apparently he's on the line and I guess he's okay. It's Gary Lauer, ladies and gentlemen. Gary?
What's up, Preston? All right! How's my family? How's everybody doing, man?
He's alive. We're good. We're doing all right. We just haven't heard from you in a long time.
You know what? Absence makes the heart go fonder. That's my mom said.
Wow, that's actually
Gary.
that's correct.
How you doing, Cap? How you doing, sweetheart? How you doing, sweet tea?
Good. How are you, Gare?
I'm good, babe. I miss you guys. I miss you terribly. I would really like to win Bill Weston's seats, man. He would love that.
Oh, my God.
he would.
Yes, he
Oh,
would.
my God. I would be in a suite. Oh, my God. We'd have so much fun, man.
So, Gary, what's been up?
I don't care if it was Manilow.
What have you been up to?
Barry Manilow.
Oh.
No, I said I don't care if it was Manilow. Just to be in Bill Weston's suite would just blow my mind.
It's not a suite.
I don't think these are sweet. It's just their tickets.
But I don't care. Give me a ticket. I'll have one for Bill.
You'll have one for
You
Bill.
remember
I have a cold beer for Bill.
Gary for one day worked for Bill. He was Bill's assistant.
We got to do it again. We have to do it again. An encore performance.
Bill loved that. How's your summer been, Gary?
Everything's good in the hood here, man. I'm just dodging bullets, man. You know.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, literally.
Literally, yeah.
It's terrible, man. It's terrible, bro.
Gary, where are you working these days?
What's that, bud?
Where are you working these days?
I'm not.
Oh,
not at all, huh?
Cool.
I'm not right now. I'm having a hard time walking with my right leg.
What happened?
I don't know. My doctor's a quack. He took blood, like 8 tubes of blood. I don't know. He's a quack.
And then drank it.
Yeah, I don't know, man. He told me.
Tubes of blood.
I don't know, man. He's a quack. I need to see another doctor.
He said I need 8 tubes of blood. Gary, you got to get that looked at by somebody who's really, a solid doctor.
Yeah, Mike. This guy should retire. He needs to see a doctor. This guy. He's like 80 years old. Don't they have to retire at a certain age, doctor?
I think it's probably wise when you lose the ability to walk or have vision or.
Well,
that's on my to do list right now. I got to get myself back together, and then I'm job hunting.
Do me a favor. Describe what's wrong with your leg.
When I
93.3 WMMR.
Thank you very much, Marissa. Our next guest has a couple things going on with the marking of 40 years of Live Aid in Philadelphia. He's got a feature in Philadelphia Magazine about it and an event coming up this weekend at Union Transfer with Martha Graham Cracker. Please welcome our friend, Mr. Victor Fiorillo.
You guys rock.
Nice to see you, sir.
I have to say, you're the only entertainment entity in the history of the world that could get an hour out of locks. I'm driving over in my car. What the hell are they talking about?
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, you raised anxiety in me because I left my keys in Atlantic City this weekend, and I'm waiting for the priority mail package to get to me.
No.
That's a nightmare as well.
I woke up in a good mood, and then I heard you guys, and was suddenly thrust into anxiety.
That's our job. We cause anxiety.
Thank you.
We do.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Listen, I was reading your article about Live Aid, and yes, the big question, and we're going to address the event coming up. In fact, let's talk about that first. We'll get that, make sure people are aware. So on Sunday, that is the official anniversary date of Live Aid, right? This coming
That's right.
Sunday?
This Sunday, July 13th, 40 years ago, was Live Aid.
Wow. So you have you and Martha Graham Cracker have put together this event, and the whole
never
band.
fails to crack me up that name, Martha Graham Cracker.
And it is this Sunday, and it's a fundraiser. So tell us a little bit about that, and then we'll delve into some of the Live Aid stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have 30 different players, musicians, singers coming together to do songs that were performed at Live Aid, whether at Wembley or JFK. Not all the songs, because that would be a 16-hour concert.
Right.
Just some favorite selections. And 100% of ticket proceeds will go directly to the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. Some of your listeners may remember that Martha Graham Cracker herself recovered from both of those diseases. So that's why we're doing this.
And I have been phoned in to be a part of this performance, gang. So I will be playing drums at this event for one song and one song only.
Well, we've rightly been classifying you as the Phil Collins.
Yes, Preston will be playing during the Led Zeppelin reunion segment.
Which would be Phil Collins.
That would be Phil Collins.
Yeah.
So we're doing it without the cocaine and the Concorde flight.
Right.
So it's significantly cheaper for us to pull it off.
Right.
So that's this Sunday. It's going to be a great event. We've got everything from drag queens to gospel singer to, just straight up rock and rollers to Preston. Pierre's going to come say a few words. He was, of course, at the original Live Aid. So it'll be fantastic.
Tickets?
Yeah, tickets are $30. Like I said, 100% of proceeds go to the charity directly. And you can get them at utphilly.com, like uniontransferphilly.com, or axs.com.
I'm excited because I've never seen a Martha Graham Cracker show live. I've watched videos on YouTube. It's a great band, backup singers. It's a multiple instrumental group. It's got a big, cool, fat sound to them. So to be able to play with people like that, for me, is very satisfying.
And you've always said you really, your joy is to play for a band that has a strong lead.
Yeah.
And you have that with Martha Graham Cracker.
Most definitely.
This is really cool. It's a great way to obviously do something that isn't ultimately a good, but the observance of this event, as we move inexorably away from it, the truth of the matter is that it's something you don't want to forget, because it was, to me, I was up in Long Island, New York at the time, and school field trips would come down to Philadelphia. But that day, all eyes were on 2 locations, and I mean, I was locked on the whole day, and since with the Bohemian Rhapsody and all of the stuff that is since celebrated in various forms or another, it is something that needs to be celebrated. And do you fear that it will just pass into oblivion eventually, or do you think it has the staying power? I mean, at 40, the observance is fairly strong, but do you think it'll eventually wither on the vine?
I'm very happy to be celebrating it at 40. I mean, let's keep in mind the age of the people who were at the original Live Aid.
Right.
And where they are now. But I think there will be something for 50. I'm just glad we're able to do something for 40. In the new issue of Philly Mag, I have a huge feature on Live Aid where, we look at the failure that was the Led Zeppelin reunion. We look at why Bob Geldof didn't want the Hooters to be involved. We look at all kinds of things. And as I was putting this package together, I was just like eating, sleeping, breathing, drinking Live Aid. And I was like, wait, there needs to be a Live Aid concert, which is kind of how this came together. And I assumed there would be one. And I looked around, talked to somebody at Live Nation. There was no inkling of anything. So I thought, well, I guess with all my free time, I should just put together a huge Live Aid tribute.
So why were the Hooters not wanted by Bob Geldof to be a part of the show?
So Bob had no idea who they were. They were all over, Philly radio and starting to make waves around the country at the time. But Bob had literally no clue who they were, and he said, who the blank are the Hooters. But because of their local connections and the fact that they were playing, they were scheduled to that Live Aid was in Philadelphia, their local promoter was able to keep them on the bill. Bob Geldof wanted nothing to do with them, and I'm pretty sure that on the DVD set that Bob released years later of Live Aid, they are not on that because he did not like them. But they got revenge. So the Hooters are, as they say, big in Germany.
Yeah.
They tour all over Germany. They do really well there. And some years ago, they did a tour, and guess who the local promoter hired to open for them?
Geldof?
None other than Bob Geldof.
Oh.
And I talked to Hooters frontman Eric Bazillion about it. And, he kind of joked that they made sure he didn't get the best dressing room.
Has he ever verbalized any sort of regret, not regret, or just in retrospect? Because certainly for us here, and they did our Christmas show during the Camp Out for Hunger, and they just were sensational. Has there been any upgrade in his assessment of the Hooters?
I don't think so. I don't think he said much about it. I mean, he doesn't really talk about Live Aid that much, in part because there's a lot of controversy about what happened to all the money,
That's what I was
with
wondering.
it. So whenever it comes up, journalists want to ask him about that. I tried to get him for the story. For whatever reason, he didn't talk to me. But, it's hard to talk about Live Aid without talking about, he talks about how much money was raised, but where did that money go? And that question has never really been answered. And the truth of the matter is that there's no doubt that a lot of it went to a dictator in Africa who used it to buy weapons to then commit genocide. That's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
Not Coney. Not that guy.
No.
Okay.
Looking at a post on Instagram about the Led Zeppelin performance from Philadelphia Magazine account, Victor mentions that, Phil Collins called it a disaster, their performance. By the way, Tony Thompson was the other drummer. He was the guy that really held it together because Phil didn't rehearse with them.
No.
He just flew straight over and played, but Tony knew exactly what he was doing and he held it together. And you can see Phil making some mistakes, but Tony keeping it together where it was. But, and in fact, Questlove commented on this post by you guys. He says, as a latecomer to the to Zeppelin world, I dived in completely around 1991, like 6 years after Live Aid. I saw this performance in Japan around 1986, and now being familiar with their work, something wasn't quite right, but I never said anything He said, it was like an itch I couldn't scratch, but I never wanted to ask out loud, was this a good representation? And he said, now I don't want to read this because I'm scared to find out. And I personally don't remember it. I haven't gone back and watched Live Aid footage in, I couldn't tell you how long.
So I remember it. I just, for whatever reason, was dialed into it because of the enormity. I was the kind of guy who would hang up all night and watch the muscular dystrophy telethon, anything that was like this.
I watched all of this.
Right.
I just I've forgotten a lot about it.
One thing that stands out for me, bizarrely, was the Sade, right? She performance.
She performed at Wembley, yeah.
Right, and I was like, and I bought the album immediately after that. But it worked for me, and obviously the intentions were there to do good. But if you take it on face value for what it was, something of this enormity of that level, the traveling, the stories of the Phil Collins traveling to hit both locations, it's the stuff of legend.
Absolutely.
And my earlier question was, do you think it will get passed on to other generations as a thing the way Woodstock still manages to hold some ground, or is it of a time?
Well, I'll give you a little anecdote about this. So I announced this show at Martha Graham Crackers. Well, I announced it on the air to your listeners first, but I officially announced it at the Miller, formerly the Merriam Theater, last month or 2 months ago for Martha Graham Crackers' 20th anniversary concert. We've been playing together for 20 years. So I announced it, and after the show, a woman who comes to all of our shows, and I knew she had a son who was a really talented guitar player. She came up to me and she said, my son always says that he was born in the wrong era. I think he's like 20 or something. I don't even know.
Yeah.
Because she says he always says he should have performed at Live Aid. His name is Finn Vora. And she said, if you need any help with this, he would love to do it. And it turns out he's going to college in California to learn how to do these types of things, like produce big concerts.
Wow.
That's what he wants to do.
Wow.
So I realized about halfway through the process of this crazy endeavor to do this Live Aid tribute concert that I have too much music to teach my band.
Right.
So I called Finn up. I was like, dude, do you want to be the other house band? Do you want to be the band leader and rehearse all these singers? So that's what he's doing. So I'm answering your question by saying, here we have a 19, 20, 21-year-old, sorry, Finn, I don't know how old you are, kid who is taking this on and basically doing half of the work for the show.
That's the evidence.
So I think that the answer is that 10 years from now, maybe I'm not going to be in the mood to do a 50th anniversary, but Finn definitely will.
Cool.
By the way, I think Bohemian Rhapsody kind of, the movie, kind of re-put that spotlight onto Live Aid. It didn't fully blossom, and where everybody was like, oh, now we got to go back and see what that was all about.
I think you're right.
But it still keeps it alive. And I think maybe if some more rock stories come out of these bands, and that is a part of the conversation that people will remember what a big deal it was.
Right,
you know?
right. No, I think you're right.
So with that, besides Zeppelin, and I guess I'm going to have to go back and form my own opinion and go back and watch the performances, but you dive into that as part of the series.
I dive into lots of things, and it's funny. I remember when I interviewed Pierre Robert for my oral history on the 30th anniversary 10 years ago. I'll be reissuing a new version of that tomorrow, by the way. Pierre swore up and down that the Led Zeppelin reunion was amazing. And I told him to go back and watch the YouTube video. I mean, like Robert Plant, his voice is completely shot. I know people think I can be a very negative person and cynical, but I'm being objective here. His voice is shot. Jimmy Page is obviously obliterated. He's drooling on the stage.
Wow. Yeah.
You know, Phil Collins, he didn't want to rehearse with them. He said he would listen to the songs on the Walkman on the Concorde on the way over. This is true. That's what he said. Now, if he did or not, I don't know, because he wound up sitting next to Cher on the Concorde.
Yeah.
And Cher was drinking champagne. So I don't even know if he listened to the songs. And then, you know, they already had a drummer. They had a great drummer.
Yeah.
And having two drummers, Preston, you would agree that having two drummers can be really hard because you have to be together.
Yep.
And Phil would just like drop out of the song sometimes because he didn't know what was going on.
Let me ask you, who was the, in retrospect, and obviously you've taken the deep dive on this, who proved to be the, oh, no one saw that coming. That was a performance that no one saw coming. On the positive side, I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's kind of an obvious answer, and we all knew that Queen was fantastic.
Right.
But their performance, it wasn't just the best performance at Live Aid. It's just one of the most iconic live performances in rock music.
I was live, I was aware of what was going on, and so on and so forth. Does the movie, having seen the movie, paint an accurate portrayal of how it wasn't seen as, okay, we'll add them, and that they blew the place out the way they did? Is that accurate?
Yeah, I think the movie is pretty accurate. And, going back to memorable performances, I have to say, Patti LaBelle, who still lives in the area, she lives in Gladwin, she wanted to do the show on Sunday. Instead, we're using one of her former bandmates. I mean, if you listen to her do Over the Rainbow at Live Aid in Philly, even if you're not a fan of Patti LaBelle or of that song, I mean, I get chills every time I see her do that. But there were just so many great, I mean, there were far more good performances than not so good performances.
Yeah, and that's my memory in general,
So the article that I read recently was, and I was always curious about this, how did Philadelphia get chosen? You have London and Philadelphia. Doesn't, you think London and New York, something like that. Why Philadelphia?
So especially 40 years ago, now we've got a thriving restaurant scene.
Yeah.
We have national and international publications spotlighting us. That was not the case in 1985. We just had the move bombing in May of 1985. And, it was kind of like a dirty, trash-strewn place that was headed in the direction of bankruptcy. It was not a popular spot. But what they needed was a huge venue that could contain a ticketed crowd. They did not want another Woodstock on their hands. They really wanted good security and, a good way to contain people in a very large space. They also wanted it to be centrally located near interstates, near airports. So there was a stadium on the West Coast that had offered them a good deal to come there. But Mayor Good, at the time in Philadelphia, he offered the stadium for free, and that the city would not get involved in taking money from any taxes or anything on the Live Aid merchandise sales, the merch. So then they talked about Madison Square Garden, but that's not big enough. When you look at other stadiums, like, okay, you might say, well, Penn State, the stadium out there is just colossal. But then you have to get there.
You have to get there.
So Philly, it's basically halfway between New York and D.C. We've got a major international airport right here. And if they did it on the West Coast, that would have made it nearly impossible for Phil Collins to do the transcontinental thing, which they really wanted to do because, he has to get all the way to L.A. So he would have to take the Concorde to New York and then take another plane to L.A. That wasn't going to work. And the other problem is the 3-hour time difference between Philly and L.A., where they would have had to have started the L.A. concert way too early to make it sync up with London.
So it does actually make a lot of sense.
Yes.
For something that seems on the outside to just be, okay, dart in the dartboard. It really makes sense on many levels.
Yeah, it was a strategically very good move.
Yeah.
But JFK was not in great shape, right? It was
awful.
It was done. I mean, it was at the ass end.
It was really bad. It was literally falling apart. It was disgusting. It was just huge. And, it was a concrete bowl that was, I can't remember what year it was built, but, in the early part of the 20th century, very early. And, it was really bad. And 4 years after Live Aid, after a Grateful Dead show at JFK Stadium, Mayor Good condemned it. And the guy who was in charge of, the lead contractor in charge of demolishing it, said something to the effect of, we don't have to do much to take this place apart. It's falling apart. And he said, it's shocking to me that people were allowed to be in this.
How much was there, in fact, any sort of renovation that took place to make it acceptable for this global situation and for that capacity crowd?
Not at all. Bill Graham, the legendary West Coast concert producer who was heavily involved in Live Aid, he came to Philly saw this, right before the concert when they were setting up, and he took one look at JFK Stadium, and Pierre remembers him saying, this place is a piece of, and nothing was done. I mean, they set up medical stations to deal with people having heat exhaustion or whatever. They had to lay down a special material on the grass. It was natural grass. The Eagles used JFK Stadium as their summer practice field.
Right.
They had an exclusive contract where no one else could use the stadium during the summer. And they could have blocked this, but the good administration negotiated with them, and they agreed to let it happen so long as the city put down, or the promoters put down, a specially engineered tarp to protect the grass.
It cracks me up that just in short order after this event where it is packed to the gunnels, somebody comes in and assesses that it's not structurally sound.
Yeah. I mean, it's
That's
scary.
hilarious. Averted.
Look at concert disasters. This could have easily been a concert disaster.
Yeah.
I mean, even if, it was super hot that day, which everybody you interview, I've interviewed dozens of people, everybody leads with, it was so hot.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, but tell me more.
How hot was it, though?
Listen, we got a number of texts came and say the exact same thing.
Yeah.
It was ridiculously
I
hot
remember
that.
I remember, listen, I was 10 years old, freshly 10 years old. I remember watching it on TV. I didn't have air conditioning in my house. I remember how hot, but how hot was it?
Actually, if you go to phillymag.com, you'll see that I posted an article yesterday called "Just How Hot Was It at Live Aid?" So it was the temperature recorded, the high recorded at Philadelphia International Airport that day was 93 degrees. Okay. But it doesn't take a rocket scientist to realize that the temperature inside a giant concrete bowl with 102,000 people in it would be, the real feel, as we call it today, would be a lot higher. You also had the stage was black, and so it was sun absorbing. And you've got Judas Priest going out there in all leather. I talked to Rob Halford from Judas Priest, and again, the first thing he told me when I was like, "What do you remember about Live Aid?" Oh man, it was so hot.
Well, Madonna, the famous clip of Madonna talking about the heat,
right? And Madonna went in like a full, she had on a blazer, a vest,
It was material girl status right that point. Yeah.
By the way, here's a text says, my uncle was at Live Aid and said that the dudes weren't even walking to the bathroom. They were just standing at the doorway and pissing in.
Yeah. Yeah, it was disgusting.
Oh my God.
There's a legend there. I mean, and, look at. Sometimes I watch, and I love the Academy Award-winning Woodstock documentary, but I look at some of that and I'm like, no goddamn way with the mud and then I mean, but you can treat it fondly now because it made such an impact.
I wish there was a documentary about the behind the scenes at Live Aid. It doesn't exist, and frankly, I don't think Bob Geldof would let it be released.
Would let it be released.
Victor, rattle off a few of the headliners in Philadelphia besides Led Zeppelin, or just anybody throughout the day. We know the Hooters, Led Zeppelin. You mentioned Madonna.
Of course, there was the "We Are the World" finale, which everybody remembers, which had everybody in it, and they were all trying to grab the microphone.
Right.
I remember interviewing Kenny Loggins, poor Kenny Loggins, who was only given 4 minutes to perform at Live Aid.
What?
He did, of course, Footloose. What else would he do? And he was on the finale, the "We Are the World" finale, and when I interviewed him, he was like, all I remember is that I was standing there singing, and all of a sudden, this big black woman next to me just starts screaming. She doesn't even know the words, and everybody's holding their ears because it's so loud. Of course, that was Patti LaBelle. He doesn't even know that today. But, the Mick Jagger, Tina Turner thing, I mean, that was just sexually explosive, their performance together. If you watch that today, you're like, wow, they're like, really getting it on stage. And, in the context of the time, Hall & Oates played there. They did a great job. The crowd went wild for them. The Hooters opened the thing up. They were the first band to play. The crowd went wild for them. I mean, I was underwhelmed by the Black Sabbath performance. I love Black Sabbath, but I thought Judas Priest did a great job. I mean, there was just so many great things that day. Mostly everybody was good or great, and there were a handful of people that were I thought Madonna was just kind of, I mean, she was, of course, like becoming a huge pop star at that point. It felt like a little phoned in to me.
Wasn't it right on the heels of the nudes, the pictures?
Yeah, so 3 days before Live Aid, Playboy released a series of nude photos of Madonna that were taken when she was a struggling model in New York. They were taken a while before. So when she goes on to the stage at Live Aid with all these like weird amount of clothing on a hot day, the first thing she says to the audience is, "I'm not taking bleep off today," which was a reference to the Playboy thing.
Right.
Yeah, you know what? There's a short list of legendary festival shows in the world. I guess I was going to say in the United States mainly. There was the US Festival, which is another big thing that took place, and that was one of those. That was out in California somewhere, I think, or on the desert.
I think so.
But they're a little more commonplace now. There's yearly really big festivals that take place. But back in the day when these would come along, it was like, oh my God. Yeah, we're flying halfway across the country to go to this thing.
And think about the art of the actual, obviously you guys both, musicians, but the staging, the technology, the sound systems, the sound control, the mixers, all that stuff has taken a quantum leap forward. And to pull something off like that the way they did was pretty goddamn amazing.
Right. And people, who haven't seen it should know that you had a concert in Wembley, a concert in Philly, not at the same time. Philly would play while people in Wembley were watching Philly play on the big screen. They would do a set in Philly, and then they would switch back over to Wembley, and now you've got people at JFK watching what's happening at Wembley on the big screens inside JFK. And meanwhile, at JFK, they had a stage within a stage, so there was a rotating turntable stage. So when you have Black Sabbath performing, on the other side of the wall of that stage, you've got the next band setting up. And then they would spin the stage. But the problem was the stage that spun was supposed to be motorized, but the motor burned out or wouldn't work. So they wind up just getting a bunch of big guys who were there, including, I don't remember the name. There was some like football star from the time, not an Eagle, I think maybe a Giant. There were just all these VIPs backstage, and this one huge linebacker was one of the guys, like with poles, turning the stage like as if it were some like Roman scene. When you picture them like turning the mill or whatever, they had to physically turn this huge stage.
Yeah, it's like when Conan, was walking around pushing that thing around. Somebody texted and said, "Will Steve Fallon be there? He's the guy that Chevy Chase called up because his new kidney was ready in Boston." I don't remember that little story.
Oof.
But there were people besides musicians that were there. Actually, Pierre had a short conversation with Jack Nicholson backstage, which was just bizarre that he managed. He was just kind of standing around, and Pierre went over to him with a microphone. So all the big celebs were in there.
It was a huge celebrity thing backstage. Actually, Steven Starr, who, of course, now is a huge restaurateur in Philadelphia and New York, we all know him. He was like a 22-year-old Temple dropout, and he was backstage. He had just actually produced Madonna's first sold-out show at the Spectrum. Back then, he was a concert promoter, and I think he also had something to do with the Hard Rock that was set up backstage for the VIP catering. Steven Starr was back there. You had Jerry Blavitt, back there. And one funny story I remember when I was talking to Jerry, before he passed away, he picked Madonna up at Philadelphia International Airport in a big super stretch limo. And she was hungry. And he said, "What do you want?" And she said, "I want chicken parm." And good Italian girl from New York. And so he calls Frankie's Seafood Italiano, which used to be down at like 10th and Tasker, I think.
Right.
They weren't open yet. But the chef, it's Jerry Blavitt, and he's got friggin' Madonna with him. So the chef agrees to whip something up. Now Jerry says he told Madonna, "Oh, listen, the veal parm is excellent. You got to get the veal." He's trying to sell her on the veal, but Madonna, strong woman that she is, she's like, "No, I want the chicken parm." So they got her chicken parm, and
that's cool.
But Blavitt was like, still many years later, annoyed that she wouldn't try the veal.
You should have had the veal.
The veal's better. That's hilarious.
Wow. Wow. Well,
That's so many great stories.
There's tons and tons. And
all of this is in Philly Mag, obviously.
Yeah, and so actually on Monday we officially declared it Live Aid Week in Philadelphia. So all week at PhillyMag.com we're running different stories about Live Aid. Tomorrow I'm going to be doing the big oral history, which has Pierre and a lot of other folks in it, celebrities that I talked to, regular folk that I talked to, who were there. There's a, woman who was in her 30s at the time, who's the mother of a woman who comes to all the Martha Graham Cracker shows. Back then, the mom was in her 30s. And she just remembers it was so hot, of course, she says. She was wearing a white T-shirt, and she heard that they broke open a pipe in the men's room and that it was just a huge shower. So she remembers going into the men's room to kind of be showered in all this water spraying everywhere. And then she said it was basically like a wet T-shirt contest, and she went back out to the concert and just, danced away.
Sure.
Her daughter is now embarrassed hearing that story. But,
that's great.
Yeah.
Wow. All right, well, it's going to culminate with the event on Sunday, which is going to be at Union Transfer, and it's Martha Graham Cracker and Friends, the Live Aid tribute show, and 100% of the ticket proceeds are going to the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. There's a lot of local musicians that are going to be guesting in. I happen to be one of them. I'm going to get up and play a Led Zeppelin song with the band.
Are you going to play Accurate to Live Aid, or is it?
It's a long story. We're throwing him a curveball.
Okay.
Yeah, we're doing
decided
things a little differently.
Well, as you know, Led Zeppelin derived so much of their music from early American blues players,
Yes.
Black blues musicians. So we actually, my friend PJ Brown, who's a great blues and rock performer, but she was schooled on the blues. We're taking a Led Zeppelin song, I'm not saying which one, and we're taking it back to its American blues roots.
That should be fun.
Yeah. So, of course, we couldn't make Preston's job easy. We had to throw him a twist.
I can't go and learn it as the song is pre-recorded.
Yeah.
We're just going to be, but I mean, it's what you do. It's what's fun about music is you
can handle
jam.
it. Yeah.
And so we'll maybe get a run through before the show, and that's it. And,
Awesome.
and we'll do the performance, which is going to be great. But it's this Sunday. Show starts at 7 o'clock. Doors are at 6:30, something like that.
Doors at 6, and local DJ Robert Drake is going to be presenting the 1985 Time Warp starting at 6 o'clock. So he's going to be DJing as if he were at a party in 1985, what he would have been playing back then.
That's so cool. So great.
And you can go to utphilly.com to get the tickets. So if you can, come and join. It's going to be fun, and it's a great fundraiser and a great acknowledgement of a historical event that took place here in our city.
Yes. Absolutely.
Excellent. All right, Victor, great to see you, man. I'll catch you on Sunday.
Thank you. Sounds good.
Victor Fiorillo from Philly Mag. We are going to take a quick break. We'll come back in just a moment. Stay with us.
Preston and Steve.
Holly Horse is, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, no sooner I walked from here to 7-Eleven dentistry to get my beer, and I can't even walk back. I have this Charlie horse. It just goes all the way up my leg.
Yeah. Sounds like
it's
sciatica.
very, very painful. And I mean, muscle relaxers, I would love to have one of them. But
No, you don't want that. No, it doesn't go well with your beer.
Yeah.
well, I drink that every day.
Yeah, doctor's orders.
Exactly.
How are you doing, Nick? And how's your son doing? Ben?
Yeah, doing great. Thanks, Gary. Appreciate it.
No, you're a good guy. Everybody's there. Is a good guy. Casey's a great father, great dad. Preston, you're a great dad, a great father.
Ah,
Well,
that's so nice.
Thank you, Gary.
Steve Morrison, Shotgun Steve Morrison, you're an excellent husband and a great dad to them dogs and cats. Well,
Thank you. Am I shotgun?
yeah, you're Shotgun
yeah.
Steve.
Shotgun
So
Steve
bad. That's why I said Shotgun Steve
It's
Morrison.
been so long, I forgot my name.
Who's the oil can?
Me.
Oh, that's
Casey.
Oil Can Foster.
Oil can
Yeah.
Foster.
Okay. All right.
Remember
We used to
Foster's give me
drink
the oil can?
And I'm just.
Foster oil cans we used to drink.
Oh, that's what that's.
How you doing, Case? How's your family, bud?
Everybody's good, man. Yeah, I was just worried about you. You didn't check in last week, so we got a little bit of
In a
concern.
while, man. I only call Pierre Robert once in a while, and I wish him a good day and tell him I love him, and it's cake.
So what kind of job are you looking for?
I want to
Gary?
work. I want to work back in the kitchen again. I can run a kitchen and morning manage. It's what I do, man.
Okay, so you've worked the breakfast shift at a restaurant.
I like to open up in the morning so I get everything ready for lunch and and prep and get it all ready for dinner, and I'm out. I do a hard 8 hours or I leave. I worked 8. I'm a ball player. I come to work for 8 innings, man. I go in there and knock it out, man.
All right.
All
Well,
8 innings.
listen. If anyone,
All 8 innings.
If you can help me up, man.
well, you get one off for good behavior.
I have a great resume. I have a good resume. Man. If you're going to help me out, get a kitchen job, working in the kitchen.
Well, you got to fix your leg. Make sure you're drinking enough water, Gary.
She's right. Kathy's right.
I drink plenty of water, plenty of milk, plenty of bananas. I'm doing all.
You drink a lot of bananas?
Well, I eat bananas.
Oh, okay.
Okay, good.
Well, let me tell you something. Just get yourself. Listen, we know that you'll work a solid 8 if you can get your deal. You're looking for like the breakfast shift at a restaurant or like a takeout place. So if anyone knows of anything, let us know.
That sounds excellent, Steve. Thank you so much, young man.
Hey, Gary, since you haven't been working, you been watching any good shows that you can recommend or anything like that to us?
Well, I just told you, I got a flat screen TV now.
I know. That's why
everything was flat.
I got this Roku.
Yeah, Roku.
Yeah.
And I can watch movies and I got regular basic TV now. Like I'm watching I'm watching Mike Jerk and that other girl. Alex Harley, whatever.
Holly.
Yeah, I watch them guys every day, man.
That's cool, man.
That's great, man.
And I'm just so glad everybody's well there, man. And Billy Burns is the best guy in sales, man.
Wow, Bill Burns. Shout out.
Wow, man.
Bill Burns is a good guy, man. Bill Burns is a good guy,
He
man.
is. Yeah.
What about Chuck?
Chuck D'Amico, he's a class act, just like Eric Simon, man. He's a good guy, man.
He knows everybody.
Harry is running down our entire staff.
I love my family, man.
Yeah.
Who does payroll here, Gary?
Yeah.
I was watching this morning some of that Shinedown show from Camden last night.
Yep.
Yeah.
And look, they were one of the best bands in the country right now. They're hot. They're on fire.
Yeah, they have a huge fan base here in Philadelphia.
Cadillac Brent Porsche, that's his favorite band.
Yeah.
You know, man, when they were out there, they were doing it for Johnny.
That stupid Johnny, man. They ain't got nothing on me. Anyway, okay, Smith, you're going to deliver some pizzas. I'll be your sidekick.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'll be
Yeah,
your
we
sidekick.
got to really follow through on this, Preston.
Do you know? For a brief period, Gary, your name was considered for going across country with Casey.
Man, if it can get me out of Philadelphia, I'll be blessed, bro.
Yeah, but
I've been down the shore in 20 years.
Do you want to get out of Philadelphia permanently or just for a little trip?
I just need to get out of my hood, man. My hood is shot.
It's very dangerous, right?
Oh man, look, the cops, the EMTs are the hardest workers in the city, and your Philadelphia Fire Department, man. Detectives, man. I see my friends every day, man.
Shouting them all.
They're all my friends, man. They're good guys, man. They're good guys in Philadelphia Police Department and firemen and the EMTs, man. They're all my friends, man.
Well, you're the mayor of Juniata Park.
Yes, I am. They knock on my door and they give me brass knuckles.
Hang on.
Well, at least I haven't.
I'm sorry. Hang on. Hang on. I just want to clarify this. They give you brass knuckles?
Yeah.
Well, they use them on him.
You can get them at a pawn store. They're really called paperweights.
Yeah. They're illegal.
Yeah, we can get them at a pawn store.
Okay. Sir. All right, get them at a pawn store.
Hey, Gary, is it difficult for you to get to Feasterville?
I can't get the Feast. I can get from here to my.
For a job.
No, I can't get that far, man.
All right, there's a place called the Copper Kettle Tavern, and they are hiring and in need. So if you change your mind, I got an email from a listener and said they are actually hiring right now.
Gary, if you can pull it together, bite the bullet a little bit. If somebody's offering up some work, it might be.
I understand all that, and I really gratefully, and I'm very humbled by that. But I can't walk from here to the L, man.
Okay.
Wow.
I live right in Juniata Park. My L is Erie and Tarsdale.
Let's get your leg right, all right, and do some.
I got to get. Sorry, Steve. I didn't mean to.
No. You got to get that leg right. If that's how bad it is, because I know you want to work, but we got to make sure you can stand up and do what you need to do.
Get an electric scooter.
What the funny thing is, too, guys? I mean, I can talk to you guys. And my right side of my leg, my toes are not like my left side of my leg. My toenails are all clear. You can see the blood, red. And on my right side, it's like they're like dead. My nails don't even grow.
Huh.
I don't know what
you got to go to the doctor.
Are they discolored or anything like that?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, that's not good. I mean, it's like
good,
diabetes
Gary.
and things like that.
Yeah,
I mean, my nails don't even grow, man. I mean, I always take care of my skin and my body, but something's not right if my
Kathy,
nails.
do you think you could assess this if Gary were to send you a D-pic?
When's the last time you saw your doctor about this, Gary?
about 6 months ago.
Oh,
okay.
Dude,
gotta
it's
go
been a
again.
while.
Yeah.
Well, I went before, and he took 3 more tubes of blood. I went the last time, he took 4 more tubes
And
of blood.
what were the results?
He said something about my enzymes.
He's low on blood.
Your liver enzymes?
Something like that, maybe, Case.
And did he recommend any medication or anything?
Man, he gives me
Budweiser.
medication that goes, when I get it, I see all the side effects. I read it all. I say, oh, my God, if one pill don't cure you, one will freaking kill you. So I threw him away.
You throw them away?
Don't.
Dude.
Can't do that.
The only thing I take is 800 milligram Motrin, and I break them in half.
Gary, you have to listen to your doctor and take the prescribed medication. I know a lot of things have potential side effects, but if you've got something serious going on, you got to take the chance, the minimal chance that something might go wrong and fix the problem.
I'm going to have to look into another doctor because this is not. This has been going on for too long now. It's upsetting me.
Do us a favor.
Worried.
Do us a favor and make sure that you follow through with that. So the next time we talk to you, you have a new doctor who's taking care of that leg. And then when that happens and you're ready to get a little bit more ambulatory, we can get you set up, or at least nice people offering jobs can help you get back on your feet. All right?
Listen, that sounds great. And by the way, hey, real quick, if I may, I know I took up a lot of time. I wanted to know how hey, sweet tea, how's Chase doing?
Good. He's great. Thanks, Garrett. Get yourself healthy, will you?
You're the greatest mom ever. You really are.
Thanks,
So, Gary, listen, go to the doctor. You might have a diseased liver, bro. So you might want to head on over to the doctor and not go and drink beer today, you know?
I could do that.
Okay,
and make sure if you're prescribed something, take it, man.
Well, if you've seen this Preston, man, of all them side effects, I'm like, man, this is going to hurt your liver. This is going to hurt your kidney. Good alone.
Well, if the doctor's telling you, you got to listen.
Yep.
I just think
make sure it's a doctor you trust. So get a new doctor, get yourself checked up, get your leg back up and run. But you can't.
Or if they're telling you to make some if you're not comfortable with the medicine, they're telling you to make some lifestyle changes. You have to do it.
Yes, I'm all for that too. Also.
All right.
Because I lost some weight. I lost some weight also.
All right. Well,
I used to be $145, $150, and I'm not even nowhere near that now.
Yeah, that's a little
I'm really
troubling.
concerned about you, Gary.
Yeah.
Well, I really appreciate Preston, man. It's really truly means a lot for me, and right now I'm inspired to do the right thing and look into a better doctor.
You do that. We want to hear from you next week. All right, that you made some minutes. All right.
I'll call you next Monday. In case if you can't give me a call, we can talk about Bill Weston's tickets.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about getting you healthy. And listen, you can blame the doctor, but a doctor's is only as good as his patient, right?
Yeah.
So you have to listen to him. And I would recommend going sooner rather than later, today.
Yeah, I need to. I definitely got to change doctors. I have to go doctor shopping. Definitely,
And Gary,
look into it today.
Gary, yeah, you got the time. You don't have work holding you back. So
And I have medical insurance too, so I have to take advantage of this.
do it today.
I will not put it off, Dad.
All right. I like it.
And then
All
check
right.
back in.
All right.
I'll call you next Monday, Preston.
All right.
All right.
Thank
We're going to hold you to it.
Thank you. I'd like to thank Bill Burns, Chuck Sneeko, Eric Simon,
And my Lord and
Kathy
Savior,
Sweet
Jesus Christ.
Romano, Steve Morrison, Preston Elliott,
Todd DeFeo.
Nick McElwain, and my main man with the pots and pans, Casey Boy Foster, and Marissa Moken McNada.
All right.
Well done.
All right, Gary, hang in there, man.
Have a great day. Thank you, guys.
WMMR.
All right, thank you, Marissa. What's up, Steve?
Preston, you were mentioning the temperature and we have the real feel and so on and so forth, and what we estimate the temperature will feel like when you're outside and so on and so forth. Did we used to have something called the Swant Index that just came into my mind? Or Swamp Ass Index?
That does not ring a bell.
Okay.
Not sure.
The gramometer rings a bell.
Gramometer is one, yeah.
Yeah, no, I like
you were- and the
Swant
hotline.
level, like Swant level 3, Swant level 4.
Because you were describing earlier,
Put a limit on it.
you were at the golf course, and that's your meter is when you can feel your junk swimming in your.
My pants were completely soaked.
Right.
Yesterday.
Yeah.
I was wearing shorts and it was a sweat from the waistband down to about the bottom of the pockets.
And instantaneously, right? You were just out for how long? 10 minutes?
Yeah, and I started getting sweat, and then I was out there for almost 4 hours all told, and that was lovely.
How'd you play, by the way?
Decent.
Okay,
Yeah.
nice. We did have the Heat Hotline, if you remember that one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Man, it's really hot out there, isn't it? Have a good one.
That's all you get.
That's it.
Call the Heat Hotline. So, quickly before we do the bizarre file, I have a shout out, Julie Hancock from our YouTube community. asked if there was a chance we could throw in a last-minute shout-out. This is actually from yesterday from one of our YouTube crew members, and it is El Estruki, a.k.a. EE, has a birthday today. He has been such a great addition to our YouTube family, and for this past year. Blappy birthday, EE. Love your YouTube fam. So there you go. YouTube! There's our shout-out. Yes, Nick?
I have some good news, Preston.
Yeah. What?
Our buddy Adam Cronelli is going to the All-Star game.
Holy hell!
He just found out. He says, we have been officially told I am going to Atlanta. I can't thank you guys enough for everything. And just wanted to thank you so much. And so congratulations, Adam. I'm sure you're going to represent Philly really proudly. And we're super psyched for you.
I think we did that.
Wow.
I know absolutely we did that.
I think we did that. All right, nice.
Yeah, and you listen, if you guys want to do another good thing for a local Philadelphian or Delconian, our friend Cheryl Calalori, who is the president of Headstrong Foundation.
She's amazing.
She is amazing, and she is nominated for to be a health hero. And this is from Philadelphia Magazine. This is a prestigious Health Hero Award. It's a recognition and testament to Cheryl's unwavering dedication and incredible work for Headstrong. So you can vote if you go to PrestonandSteve.com and you can click on a link and vote for Cheryl Calalori to win. This is going to be a $15,000 grant. So we know that you have the power. You got Adam down to the All-Star game. Now let's do another great thing and let's get $15,000 for Headstrong Foundation.
Love that. Yes. All right, do your thing, peeps. Let's get to the B file.
WMMR presents Preston and Steve's Bizarre File.
Brought to you by the Jug Handle Inn. You can catch the best food, best drink specials in the action of all the games at the Jug Handle Inn in Cinnaminson. Come for the famous Jug Handle wings, but enjoy so much more online at thejughandleinn.com. A quiet Sunday in a central French town of Aurillac had turned chaotic when a swarm of bees raged through downtown for roughly 30 minutes.
Lure bees!
24 people were stung, and 3, including a 78-year-old who went into cardiac arrest, were listed as critical before being stabilized.
Wow.
Firefighters, paramedics, and police rushed in, setting up a safety cordon while treating victims right on the streets.
Which bees clip do you want, me or Tommy Boy?
Let's go with you.
Okay.
Bees!
Officials say Asian hornets likely disturbed a long-established hive on a hotel roof, triggering the mass attack. The hive has since been removed and placed far outside of the town. The local fire chief called the scale of injuries unprecedented for the area.
Yeah, we ain't never seen nothing like this.
And the mayor urged residents to stay alert until experts confirmed no other agitated colonies remain nearby. So there's always a few of these stories around this time of year, but a 70-year-old man died in what authorities described as a fireworks incident in Wareham, Massachusetts on the 4th of July. The victim had identified as Robert Spagnuolo, and police received a 911 call around 9:15 p.m. for a report of a person hit by a firework and arrived on scene to find a male victim with an apparent facial injury from a firework. Spagnuolo was pronounced dead at the scene. Investigators interviewed several witnesses on the scene to determine that he was setting off fireworks at the beach when one exploded in his face, causing traumatic injuries. Neighbors say that he had been setting off fireworks as part of an unofficial neighborhood competition for years.
Yeah, that sounds dangerous.
A resident said everybody down here has been lighting off fireworks themselves for over 20 years. And he said people are going to be very upset. Everybody knows him. And he said, we do know that they're illegal, but it's okay-ish on the 4th of July or a couple of days before. Otherwise, it gets shut down pretty quick.
Press, I was going to send you a video. I forgot to send it to you, but it is, these guys took like, the bottle rockets, what do they come in, like 144? What are they?
Gross.
A gross.
Yeah.
So they had a gross, it seemed like a couple of them, wedged tightly together in a barrel. And they had, they were holding it like a Gatling gun. And then a guy held like almost like a flamethrower and lit them all at once.
Awesome.
And it is amazing. If you can see if we can scare up that footage, because you will howl laughing. And the caption is, boys will be boys.
Of course. All right, this is a terrible story. Several heartbroken dog owners are speaking out and seeking justice after an Irvine, California dog trainer was charged with the death of 11 dogs. Dog trainer Kwang Chun Sit and his girlfriend, Tingfeiyu Lee, appeared in court Tuesday pleading not guilty. Last week, they were formally charged with multiple felony counts after an investigation revealed that 11 dogs died while in his care. He's facing 11 counts of animal cruelty. According to police, they recovered the bodies of 11 dogs from different crematoriums that had been dropped off by either Sit or Lou. Autopsies performed on some of the animals show they died of heat stroke and at least one from blunt force trauma.
That's horrific.
Sit was a trainer at Happy Canine Academy.
Yeah.
Multiple dog owners reported getting a text message from Sit saying their dog had died in its sleep and was already cremated without the owner's knowledge. One after another, dog owners spoke Tuesday at the Harbor Justice Center in Newport Beach as Sit and Lou sat in court. It's unimaginable for the adults and heartbreaking for the children. Both suspects were fighting their very high bail, which is over $500,000. Prosecutors explained that they were packed with passports to China when they were arrested, so they are considered a flight risk. Investigators also believe that there are additional victims, and they urge them to come forward. I've never heard of anything like that before.
That's horrible.
A 59-year-old Sailor resident, that's a town, Sailor, was hospitalized on Sunday after an encounter with a severely injured black bear at Berry Summit. The man, who has not been publicly identified, struck the 400-pound male bear with his vehicle just before 11 a.m. on Sunday. He quickly got out of his vehicle to help the injured animal over to the nearby guardrail and was bitten several times while doing that.
I mean, I commend him attempting to help, but it's an injured bear.
Peter Tira, a public information officer, said after striking the bear and seeing that it was severely injured, the motorist felt bad about it, stopped his vehicle, and got out to see if he could help the bear. Mortally wounded, the bear was struggling to climb over a guardrail on the highway and get back to wild habitat on the other side, apparently. The motorist tried to assist, helping the bear over the guardrail, and was bitten in the process. The bear died shortly thereafter. Area office, CHP office was flooded with 911 calls after the incident. Several witnesses looked on as the 59-year-old man approached the bear and was bitten multiple times in his left forearm. An off-duty EMT who witnessed the incident responded immediately and applied a tourniquet to the man's arm before calling Trinity Life Support Ambulance. The man was taken to a local hospital to be treated for his injuries, though his current condition is unknown.
In a case like that, so you strike a deer, you don't, okay, maybe I can get out and help or whatever. A bear,
Yeah.
what do you do?
I saw these guys. There was a bear swimming in a lake. This is not a dad joke.
Yeah.
He had a jug over his head, and these guys, and they thought the bear was going to drown, and so they steered their boat over to the bear.
Did they manage to do it?
They managed to get it off,
Yeah.
and the bear was like grateful. He even said thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I was afraid I was going to drown.
One last story. A man is in police custody after making a bomb threat while aboard an Allegiant Airlines flight leaving from St. Pete Clearwater International Airport on Sunday afternoon. Officials said the incident happened when a passenger on board became disruptive while the plane was en route to Roanoke West Airport in Virginia. The passenger was identified as 27-year-old Taj Taylor. Taylor had reportedly told another passenger his laptop was a bomb.
Aha.
The passenger
That's a good one.
immediately flagged the flight attendants. Investigators said several other witnesses on the plane reported hearing Taylor say that he had a bomb.
Preston, years ago, prior to 9/11, maybe not prior to 9/11, there was a laptop program that I had that was a backwards counting.
Yeah.
Looked like if your laptop was a bomb.
Yep.
Yeah.
The flight returned where law enforcement took the passenger into custody. All other passengers were asked to deplane. K-9 searched Taylor's belongings. He had no bomb.
He had no bomb.
The Federal Bureau of Investigation is leading the investigation into the incident.
And he was picked up at the airport apparently by a bear with a barrel on its head.
And that is what I have in the bizarre file for you. All right, let us take a break together. When we get back, we'll have time to share some music news stories. We'll get the trash and the lesson question, too, so stay there. We'll be back with it all.
Preston and Steve.
Wow.
Poor Gary.
I didn't quite. Obviously, there's stuff going on with his toes and his feet. That sounds not good.
Here's the deal. He's calling this doctor a quack.
Yeah.
His doctor prescribed him medication and he threw it away. And he's talking about enzymes. Dude, you can't mess around with that.
No.
You cannot mess around with that, and you definitely can't if you've got a liver problem, you can't be drinking.
Drinking beer, yeah.
Gary,
down to the 7-Eleven.
come on, man.
Yeah.
All right. Well, listen. It was a good call. It was important that we spoke to him, so I'm glad we did a wellness because something's going on, and hopefully we can kind of nudge him in the right direction to get something done.
I had 3 testicles.
And they'll want to see that. They'll want to check all 3 of those, too. All right, well, listen, we have to take a break.
Yeah.
We have our buddy Michael Giacchino is going to be joining us a little bit. So let's take that break and come back in just a moment. Make sure you stay with us, friend. So Casey sent me this article. It was from the New York Times yesterday. And in the NFL, there's a tradition that's been going on since the 70s. It's called the Rookie Dinner. And so the veterans have to take the rookies out to dinner, but the rookies have to pay for the dinner.
Right. It's been shown in sports movies periodically,
Yeah, so, but apparently there's starting to be more rumblings about is this a good idea or not, because sometimes the tabs, which can average between $5,000 to $25,000.
Come on.
Well, it depends on if they take advantage of them.
Of course.
You know,
And I bet you the inkling quite often is to take advantage of them.
Right.
Funny to
that's
them.
the deal.
Yeah,
the
because
higher they can get the tally.
Well, because they had it done to them, too.
Yeah,
it's that type of thing. It was done to me, and we're going to do it to you. That type of thing with initiations, essentially, is what this is. But the point they're starting to make out is even though we see the NFL as, these high-dollar individuals, not everybody gets paid all of that money. No. And some of them
and up front.
And some of them might last a season, and they've blown money that in hindsight they probably
should have kept. Yeah,
they probably needed. Yeah. But it's also, listen, these guys are ordering cognac and expensive bottles of wine, and obviously the food. It's the booze where you spend all the money when you go out to dinner, without question.
So we had in my sorority, there was a night where the what's it called, Case? The
Hell Night?
Rush Night? Is it during pledging or
no?
orgy?
We were pledging. Oh, pledge night. Yeah. So it was during pledging. I forgot the word. It was during pledging, and so the whole sorority, sort of created this like spooky, we're mean people, night, and so to scare whatever. We knew what was going on, and it
you're harassing them.
It was being funny. They were being funny, and it ended up being a fun night. After it's all over, there's a big party, the whole thing. But they got the year that I was pledging, the sorority got in trouble for it. So the following year, like when we were finally in the sorority, we couldn't do that. We didn't get the chance.
What was the core thing that you did to besides acting like you were very mean? Was there something equivalent to this, or
It wasn't money, because in college nobody had money.
Right,
no,
right.
it was. So we were brought into one of the sorority sisters' houses. They put us in a basement. It was very dark. Like it was almost remind you of like a haunted house, spooky, scary.
Sure.
They all came in like all dressed in black, and we were blindfolded. Like it just was. Honestly, it was so dumb, but we were laughing. It was fun.
That's cool.
Before we go down the sorority and fraternity path, which I'm sure we're going to because that's the easiest to go to, but I wanted to see if there are other professions that might have this rookie type of initiation thing. And I'm sure that like construction sites probably do their little thing.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe in the medical field, because interns there usually get the crap work.
In the military.
Military and police.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
absolutely.
Too. And in radio, I remember interns were pretty easy to. Now we don't do that here.
No.
They actually have work to do on our show. But if you're doing a different shift, it's a little bit less involved than the morning show. I remember being, running my interns around and having them just do crap work all the time.
As part of an initiation?
That wasn't really an initiation. It was just
I needed work done.
Well, look at what
running
we did.
errands for me.
Look at what we did to Joe.
Joe, I feel.
I don't.
I feel bad about Joe.
I don't.
You do?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. We took it to. We took it a couple
We had
steps.
people beat him with a wiffle ball bat. What? What's the big deal?
He shot hot sauce in his ass. What's the big deal?
What? Well, he ruined your jeans, Kathy. He had it coming.
Let's remember what precipitated that. He ruined some jeans of yours, and so we sprayed hot sauce in his ass.
butt.
He was also a little bit of an idiot. Like, if you're going to play a prank.
Wow, how sympathetic.
Wow. Joe, I
lost one on the table today. It was okay, though. Kind of an idiot.
Wait, why did we make him sit on top of the crane for 24 hours?
Because it was part of Month of Stunts. He wanted. That's the other thing is he wanted to do these things.
Yes.
Listen, it's the same thing when you guys asked me if I wanted to do Month of Stunts. The only thing different
But the
between
thing is,
me
Kathy
and
doesn't think you're an idiot.
the only thing different, I'm a total moron. The only thing different between me and Joe was that I was getting paid a whole $17,000 a year. All right. So when you guys asked me to do Month of Stunts, I was like, okay, yes, you can drag me behind a horse. You can have me drive a car into a pond. You know what I mean? Like. Yeah, there was something alluring and appealing about it, and so when Joe is saying yes to these things,
but that's a more long form. I see what you're saying, and like to make the point with you, Kathy, about this sorority and fraternity. These are things because I think there was something I'm remembering and maybe falsely remembering from The Wolf of Wall Street where they had sort of an initiation thing that they would do with with those guys. But that kind of thing, I'm sure, has its variations.
Right.
And bringing up the sorority thing, the point of that story was that I was where it stopped. You know what I mean? Like, our class was where it stopped, so we were the group that couldn't do it. So if this ends in the NFL, then that group's like, damn it,
son of a bitch, we didn't get our revenge.
Well, I feel a little bad about how
the Joe thing?
Yeah, just a little bit. But all right, anyhow, we're going to move on. I'm going to go to some calls. 215-263-WMMR. I'm going to go to Ed. Hey, Ed, good morning.
Morning, guys.
Hey, what's up, Ed?
So this is a typical thing we did in the fire department, even as volunteers, is when the rookies would come in, we would send them out to find tools that didn't exist. For instance, the most infamous one is go fetch the water hammer. I don't know if you know what water hammer is. It's when you shut the hose line off too fast and the hose jumps. That's water. So we tell them to go do that. The one we did in our fire department, which was we love to do, and I probably still do it, is we have a tanker truck. And we would tell the rookies that the tank needed to be stirred. So we would give them like a long-handled broomstick or something, and some go up to the top, open up the lid, and start to stir the tank. And we would have them do it for like 15 or 20 minutes until, we were laughing so hard they'd realize, wait a minute, maybe this isn't a thing.
Right.
It isn't. Of course, the water does not need to be stirred.
And what
do that all the time.
What did they have you do in your initiation?
There was a water hammer thing. There was a lot of that. They kind of go look for things that did the hose lengthener. The hose straightener.
Yeah, I've heard of on a construction site, go get the board stretcher.
That one. Yeah, that's another one. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah. Thanks, Ed.
Nice.
And I think there's a prank in baseball that they pull on bat boys when they tell them to go get a key to the batter's box.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's a good one.
And they go looking around everywhere for a key batter's box, which doesn't exist.
It wasn't part of an initiation, but you talk about the interns early on, Preston and Y100. We would send them out, the time we sent them out for Java.
Oh, that was fun.
Yeah.
Wasn't that Joe?
No, somebody else. I remember they came back. Yeah, I couldn't find Java. All they had was coffee. Yeah. But that wasn't really a prank. That was just them not understanding what Java was. I'm going to go to Matt. Hey, Matt, good morning.
Hey, good morning. How are you guys?
Good. What's up, Matt?
Well, I was in the Marine Corps for 4 years, and I actually called you guys a while back about the difference between explosions in movies and how they are in real life.
Right. Okay, yeah.
So while in the Marine Corps, I was in Iraq in 2004, and I had a prank played on me because I was a new guy, just a young 19-year-old kid, and one of the guys told me to go get a pricky 5 and sent me to one specific older sergeant to go get this pricky 5, which is in terms known as radio communication equipment, and it's also known as a prick 119. But you don't know that, so you go walking over to a sergeant and say, hey, I need a pricky 5. Okay. And you have no idea what you're saying, and he turns and looks at you and says, what did you just say? And then you say, I need a pricky 5, and he just chews you want a pricky 5? I'll give you a pricky 5, and he goes off.
Wow.
So you're just sitting there going, you have no idea why you're getting yelled at. You have no idea what you said. You turn around, and everybody is laughing. And you're just like the little puppy with his tail between his legs, like, oh, no, I just did something wrong.
Yeah.
But you return the favor years later when you tell the young guy, when you go for, with some of our vehicles, I was a Motor T driver, you have vehicles with air brakes. There is no fluid for these brakes.
Okay.
So you send the new guy, go get me some brake fluid right now, Marine, go. It's up in the warehouse. You need to go look and go right now. You got 2 minutes, go. And he comes back to you with a red face, scared because he can't find the brake fluid for the 7-ton truck. And you just keep going back and forth with him. And then I wasn't as hard on my Marine, but I did yell at him for not finding the brake fluid. But you pull him in and go, Marine, do we have brake fluid in these trucks? And it dawns on him. He goes, oh, no. And it's like, come on, Marine, you got to be smart.
By the way, from Red Hot Chili Peppers on 93.3 WMMR, Everything Rocks. Morning to your friend. 10 minutes after 10 o'clock. As we've said throughout the day, we'll repeat it again. Another hot one, sweaty one, moist, humid, however you want to describe it. And maybe slight chance of a passing shower, but rain expected tomorrow. Scattered thunderstorms could be intense. So we had those work their way through yesterday. By the way, did you see a little bit later in the day, 8:15, 8:30-ish? How gorgeously golden the sky was.
It was amazing. So I'm looking from the den. I'm looking out the windows. I'm like, what is that? Is that our Delco trim lights? And I'm like, I walked out, and it was very cool.
Yeah, we had a full-on tornado warning in our area.
I was watching.
All the alarms went off on our phone. Like everybody was in different parts of the house, and all of a sudden it's like everybody just came in the same room together.
Yeah.
They're like, did you see this? And we went outside and kind of checked out and like, I kind of had that tint to the sky.
What time is that? Sorry.
No problem. What time?
What time is that?
That's a good question. Probably would have been around 4:30, something like that.
Yeah, so
in that range.
We got hit by it around 5:15, 5:20.
Did you get the warning, the tornado warning on your phone?
Yeah.
Preston's looking at
Marissa took a picture. Is this your photo, Marissa, of the city skyline with that golden?
It's just really wild.
Hue to it. Yeah, it was absolutely beautiful.
I forgot what I was going to say, but it was pretty wild. Oh yeah, I was watching Cecily and Adam. Joseph. And they were. I think there was a record amount of lightning strikes in like a half-hour period or something.
Yeah, they showed an area down in Delaware that they were highlighting that were like, look at this. Look at all the lightning activity that was down there. So it was pretty intense. So we might be in store for some more stuff like that tomorrow.
Well, you pointed out, we have the temperature shifts. Some super hot, and it drops down a couple degrees. Mm-hmm. That's when you're going to get the lightning storms.
Yep.
Yeah, I was at the dinner at White Dog in Haverford yesterday when the storm came rolling through. We went early with all the old people.
Right.
And but when we showed up, they had all the tables set up outside. And then just out of nowhere, everything just kind of went flying. And I was like, did you get all the stuff off there? She's like, oh, yeah, we got all that stuff. Because it would have just blown.
There were old people at those tables. You're
talking about all the place settings and things?
All the place settings, they had it all set up.
Wow.
The old people blew away.
It was gnarly, but, when that stuff comes through, too, it's kind of fascinating to look at and check out. So hopefully it didn't take too much damage yesterday. But just a heads up for tomorrow. Lesson question time. We are going to give away a pair of tickets to see Steel Panther. It's not until Thursday, September 11th. It will be at Music Fest Cafe in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. The question is, there is spice on Arrakis, but in Dune 3, they'll visit another planet featuring what product? 610-660-9333. There is spice on Arrakis, but in Dune 3, they'll visit another planet featuring which product? This was uttered close to 7 a.m. 610-660-0933 is our number. If you heard that and you know, please get in touch with us because you could win.
The trash business is a gold mine. 93.3 WMMR with Preston and Steve's Hollywood Trash.
Brought to you by the Cumberland County Fair. It returns July 8th to the 12th at the Cumberland County Fairgrounds. Carmel Road in Millville, and you can get the schedule of daily events by visiting CumberlandCoFair.com. Steve, what's going on this morning?
Well, according to attorney Mark Agnafilo, Diddy was applauded by his cell block after beating 3 of the 5 federal charges against him. Said one of the cellmates, quote, "It's good to know there are still some people who appreciate domestic violence."
Hey!
Model Brooks Nader, you spoke about this yesterday, Preston, candidly posted a pic of her white skirt at Wimbledon with a surprise menstrual spot. Awkwardly attempting to show support, Gary Busey then posted a picture of diarrhea in his hair.
Oh, my God.
It's not the same thing. And finally, Kelly Clarkson canceled the opening of her Las Vegas residency just 90 minutes before it was set to start, blaming her voice. Producers were left scrambling, but were able to replace Clarkson with Ronaldo's amazing juggling raccoons. That's your Hollywood Trash.
All right, we will attempt to get a winner. See if somebody knows the answer to this question. There is Spice on Arrakis. But in Dune 3, they'll visit another planet featuring which product? And our first caller in is Chris. So we will go to Chris. Hi, Chris. Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, Chris, they have Spice on Arrakis. What do they have on another planet?
Woo, doggy. Flex Seal.
Flex Seal. You are correct, my man. Hang on just a moment, and we shall set you up. And you, sir, get to go see our friends in Steel Panther. The show is Thursday, September 11th at Music Fest Cafe. That's in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.com.
Now, Preston and Steve's Music News on 93.3 WMMR.
Yeah. Brought to you by United Tire and Service. Now through July 19th, you can get $100 off of 4 new tires at Philly's trusted name for honest auto care for over a decade. That's United Tire and Service. Don't drive alone. Drive United. UnitedTire.com. I just have 2 quick things for you, and that's it in music news today. The Devo documentary that earned rave reviews at the 2024 Sundance Film Festival will finally get a wide release on Netflix. It's going to be later on this summer.
Cool.
Yeah, me too. I'm happy about this, Steve. I love that band. It was revealed that the streaming service had acquired the film, succinctly titled Devo, last month, and now a release date has been set for August 19th. It's directed by Chris Smith, and Devo tracks the formation, rise, creative evolution, and cultural impact of the post-punk / new wave / geek rock greats. It features a plethora of rare archival footage, as well as interviews with Mark Mothersbaugh, Gerald Cassell, and more. The film's arrival on Netflix, actually, is part of an array of celebrations planned for this year, as Devo marked 50-plus years together. The band formed in Akron, Ohio in 1973. I know, it's crazy.
It's insane.
The ages that you're hearing of some of these bands is just insane.
Well, you had the Scorpions celebrating their 60th anniversary. My wife and I were in the car listening to Our House, that song, 45 years old.
Wow.
What in the mother F?
Yeah, for instance, Devo just launched they're staying busy. They just launched a new bi-weekly YouTube series called De-Evolutionary Times, which will find them sharing newly restored Devo videos and films. The videos will be released chronologically starting this week with The Truth About De-Evolution, a 9-minute short film directed by Chuck Statler, released in 1976, and it features performances of Secret Agent Man and Jocko Homo. Devo are also set to hit the road later this year, with the band announcing a co-headlining tour, which would be so great to see Devo and the B-52s.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
It's called the Cosmic De-Evolution Tour. Kicks off September 24th. So that's great news.
That song you mentioned, Secret Agent Man, the original version of it is done by Johnny Rivers. You're familiar with Johnny Rivers?
Yep.
And I love him. Are you a fan of
Yeah. Poor Side of Town.
Poor Side of
Secret
Town is
Agent
one
Man.
of my favorite songs. The Sun sessions he did were terrific.
He had several hits, and I did like Johnny Rivers.
You know, I think the majority of his stuff, his albums, were recorded in front of a live audience.
No kidding.
He did very little studio stuff.
Very interesting. All right, and the last thing, I'm just going to reiterate what Victor Fiorillo was promoting when he got here. It's a commemoration of the anniversary of Live Aid's 40th anniversary is actually this Sunday, and so there's a tribute show, and it is with Martha Graham Cracker and friends, and it will be at Union Transfer. 100% of the ticket proceeds are going to the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society because Martha is a survivor of those cancers. And they've asked me to come in and play one of the songs with them. So
and we said you are the Phil Collins. You're playing the Led Zeppelin portion.
I'm being flown in for one song only. Sunday, it's at 7 o'clock, and I think I'm probably going on in that 8 o'clock hour. So should be fun. We'll see how we do.
No, it's cool.
With no rehearsal and just jumping in and doing it.
You know it's going to be better than Led Zeppelin's performance.
Maybe.
Yeah.
We'll see. All right, and that's it in a short music news today. Let's take a break. When we get back, we'll be ready to wrap up the program, and we'll do that with the letter of the day for the Word of the Week prize and the one and only Mr. Pierre Robert, so stay with us.
Preston and Steve.
I love that.
As you get older, I think you try to teach them a little bit, but man, did I get my ass chewed while I was in Iraq for looking for a pricky five, man, and you get it.
Matt, looking back, though, with the whole thing and that sort of, fraternal thing, and you were sort of, I assume it was done from a place of love, and everyone goes through the rite of passage. And
absolutely.
Okay,
now
yeah.
You're in the club, you know, now they bring you in, and now they made fun of you. They had a laugh at your expense, but now you know better. But it also kind of, I think it teaches you how to think.
Yeah.
You know? And like when somebody says something to you, you think about what they just said, not just, oh, okay, roger that, and then you just run off and go do it. No, you think first, and then figure it out.
That makes complete sense, Matt. I love it.
Thanks, man.
You guys rock. Have a great day.
Thanks, buddy. Take care. I want to go to this one because this is more directly like the NFL rookie dinner thing. I'm going to go to Kevin. Hi, Kevin. Good morning.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
Good. What's up, buddy?
Hey, I'm in sales, and I worked at a company where they had a thing called NGB, which is New Guy Buys, where kind of at the first small regional sales meeting, you'd go out to dinner and you'd be required to kind of buy all the other sales guys dinner. And they would get night drinks and stuff like that as you do rounds of shots of whiskey and all this kind of stuff is. So the bill was a couple $100, but what you found out is the next day at the sales meeting, if you kind of took it like a man and didn't whine or complain, you found out two things is one, everybody pays you back the next day, so you not out all those money.
Okay.
And two, you find out everybody else was doing shots of watered down Coke, and you were the only one actually doing shots.
Oh my God, that's brilliant.
Yes.
That's brilliant.
Oh my God, that's good.
That's great.
So it is kind of a hazing and all that, but like I said, is if you kind of take the company line and do what's required, you only end up paying for yourself. Though you are really hungover the next day.
You know, Kevin, though, that really ends up that is a sort of, it's almost like a Rorschach test. You're getting a psychological preview of your coworker. Not that you live and die by what happens that night, but somebody rises to the challenge and does that, and then they find out that their coworkers also, when they pay the money back, they weren't going to leave you on the hook. That's a good thing to learn as well. So. It's like it's fun, it's funny, but it's also, I think, kind of a good thing to learn. Would you agree?
Oh, absolutely. It's that bonding experience. This was 20 plus years ago, and I still tell that story to
there
people.
You go.
And have fond memories, except for the hangover.
Right.
Could you imagine
thanks,
everyone is in on it and you're not?
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
I've never done the this is the only guy drinking and we're just pretending to drink thing. But that's pretty fun. Let me go to Nick. Hi, Nick. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys.
Hey, what's up, buddy?
So I work in the elevator industry, and we were doing replacing an elevator at a school. So we had a new guy with us. I told him, hey, the door isn't long enough. Go find me a door stretcher. Couldn't find a door stretcher. Yeah. I was like, oh, we don't have it with us. All right, go make me a bucket of steam. What's that? I was like, all right, go find me a 5-gallon bucket and go get me some MAP gas. And we'll heat it up and we'll make some steam. I have a video of the guy sitting there with MAP gas in front of the door and a bucket of water. Just
Give me a bucket of steam.
Oh, my God.
Terrific.
I like that. All right, thanks, man. Next is Keith in the commercial fishing industry. I bet there's some stuff in there.
Oh, yeah.
Hi, Keith. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. How you doing?
Good, buddy. All right, so you work in that industry, commercial fishing?
I played when I was younger. I'm older now.
Okay.
Stood at a desk, but back when I wore shoes that Kathy wouldn't approve of, I've eaten a lot of bait and a lot of fish parts and just a lot of unmentionables because that's just how it is.
Oh my God!
That's how you prank each other?
Like dared to, or you have to?
It's kind of expected to.
Wow.
You know, you're the new guy. You got to show that you got some marbles, and the whole idea is to try and get people throwing up and seasick.
Okay, right. I mean, is that the equivalent of like eating the heart of your first kill when you're out hunting?
Yeah, it's like the gift that keeps on giving.
So, Keith, did you primarily stay on like one a vessel, or when you move from vessel to vessel, is there an initiation or a razzing or hazing when you go from boat to boat, or how does it work out?
Well, when I was young, you just got hazed. You know what I mean?
Okay, I got you.
So I don't know what it was, but I was the target, and I wasn't a sissy most of the time.
Okay. All right, Keith, give us something gnarly that you ate.
I've eaten swordfish liver. I've eaten just bait that's been dragged across the ground. Bait. Shellfish. Raw sea urchin. Nothing.
Sea urchin. So basically, it's your Stroman, Preston. That's what you get in a can.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, my God, yeah.
All right, thanks, Keith. Appreciate it, man. Let me go to, Jacqueline, who has a stonemason stuff to share with us. Hi, Jacqueline. Good morning. What's up, Jacqueline?
Good morning. Hi,
Good morning.
How are you?
Good.
So one of the things they'll get you to do at first is they'll say something like, I bet you can't pick up that bag of cement or that bag of mortar up over your head.
Okay.
And you usually are able to do it, and then someone will come up behind you with a razor blade and cut the whole bag open.
Okay. Oh, no.
That's a good one, too.
Oh.
That's a good one, too. Yeah.
And it just spills all over them, right?
Yeah.
That's
luckily, I could not lift it over.
You were smart. You were smart.
I swear to God, we all would have ended up on Dateline.
Nice.
No.
I like that.
I've
Thank you, Jacqueline.
and listen, construction sites. There's no way I would bail. I would bail on that. Like I wouldn't be able to handle it.
You don't know what you're
doing.
doing. Yes. A, in case B, you don't want to feel like I'll go get that. I'll go get the bucket of steam.
Well, and I know somebody who was in a union and couldn't handle it.
Yeah.
Couldn't handle how tough it was, the stuff like this that they were doing, and left, got out, went out on his own for years. And then finally, after he knew, I guess he knew what he was getting himself into, knew what to prepare for, and went back and successful stayed in, went through the apprenticeship and all of that.
It's tough. If you think about the commercial fishing in the early years of the show, The Deadliest Catch, they had the razzing and that.
I'm on 93.3 WMMR, the wrong way. It is 10:27. Wrapping up our program for the day. Enjoyable one today.
It was.
Very much enjoyed hanging out and going through the stuff that we had a chance to sift through and dissect and chat about. And we had some good pips on the show today. We had a little check-in with Fox Good Day today, so thanks to Mike and Karen for being a part of that. We're supposed to have Tom Arnold on. We're working on getting it. He couldn't make it today, so that's been rescheduled. We'll let you know when he's coming up, and he's got a show at Helium Comedy Club tomorrow, so we'll see if something ends up happening with that. But we did have Victor Fiorillo in.
Yes.
Philadelphia Magazine, and it is Live Aid week in Philly, and Philadelphia Magazine is covering that with several different articles and social media posts about Live Aid and everything that took place here in Philadelphia and abroad as well. And then on Sunday, culminating with this concert Martha Graham Cracker and friends at Union Transfer. I'm getting up and playing a song with the band. It's a fundraiser for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. Sunday, 7 p.m. Pierre Robert will be there too, from what I heard.
I will. I think Jackie Bam Bam is also spinning.
Nice.
Yeah. Does the evening start at 7?
Yeah, actually, doors are at 6, but they've got a DJ. It's going to be spinning for a little while, and I think
be
the show
Robert Drake. He's great.
Yeah, and I think the show starts at 7.
Okay, cool.
So the plan, Victor was saying, Pierre, is that the DJ will be spinning a set he would spin at that time around
sweet.
Live Aid. So it'll be exactly the kind of music that he'd be playing then.
July 13th, 1985. I was there all day long, from the moment it started till the moment it ended. When it ended, Lynn Kratz and I, who did overnights and weekends here, were on stage. We went on the stage after everyone had left and did a final report from the stage looking out at the empty stadium.
What time was that? Do you remember?
It ended right on time.
Yeah.
It started at 9 a.m. It ended at 11 p.m. How that ever could have happened, particularly in that day, there's so many magical things. The rotating circular stage that was in effect. The Hooters got their shot there. Joan Baez opened it with singing "We Are the World." The finale was also "We Are the World," with everyone from Phil Collins to Cher being on stage. The Mick Jagger playing with Hall & Oates and the Temptations, and then bringing Tina Turner on for "It's Only Rock and Roll," and the wardrobe malfunction that was planned. He pulled on her belt and her whole outfit fell apart, and she was like in this bikini thing, doing this duet with him. It was one moment after the other. Led Zeppelin reunion, as you mentioned, Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young reunion. It was just a phenomenal day. Phenomenal.
And I would, again, we were talking with Victor about it. Obviously here it carries a little bit more weight because of, it's our city. But it's one of those things that I think we kind of guesstimated would stand the test of time, because there's nothing like it ever.
No, nothing had ever like that happened. All next week, we're going to do a block each day in celebration of
Excellent.
It. So it'll be cool.
Love it, man. All right, how about we get the letter of the day? Here we go.
Preston and Steve on 93.3 WMMR.
Now, the Daily Letter.
And the Preston and Steve Show is brought to you today by the letter
L as in letter.
All right, and we got a couple more to go, and then we'll give away a pair of pit tickets as MMR rocks Creed Return to Summer '99 tour with special guests Daughtry and Mammoth. And that is this Saturday at the Freedom Mortgage Pavilion. And some tickets remain at Ticketmaster, so get those if you can. What are you going to do with your time today, man?
We're going to have some fun and play a block of Jack White and his various music. He's got a birthday today. AC/DC in honor of Bon Scott's birthday, and a block of Hole. Courtney Love has a birthday today. There's some amazing songs that band created. Celebrity Skin, Malibu come to mind. She's an eccentric creature, but that band, I wish had continued to make music in that ilk, because I thought it was really, really good.
Yeah, Billy Corgan was writing a number of the songs. I think they were.
Was he?
They were an item at the time. Yeah,
I don't recall that, but there you go. Cool.
All right. Let me take a moment to thank our sponsors. President Steve Show is brought to you today by Dunkin', and the President Steve Show runs on Dunkin'. Also brought to you by Acme Markets, fresh foods, local flavors. And let's see who else we have here. Jug Handle Inn. Enjoy 350 Michelob Ultra bottles and drafts during all golf events at the Jug Handle Inn in Cinnaminson. Tomorrow in our program, we're stacking up. We are going to Zoom live from London tomorrow. Our friend Michael Giacchino.
Yes.
He's got a show in Hyde Park, and he's actually going to be taking a cab from Abbey Road Studios to Hyde Park while we talk to him.
They are debuting the new score for Fantastic Four for Marvel at Hyde Park tomorrow afternoon, and we're going to get a world exclusive and chat with them in advance of that.
Nice.
We also have the band Hinder here in our studio performing live tomorrow morning, which should be cool. And then a returning favorite from Abbott Elementary, Lisa Ann Walter, will be in our studio.
That's a packed day.
That's it. We're done. Rage on. Have a great day, and we'll see you again tomorrow.
Preston and Steve.